And JJ's checking his skin.
Oh, it looks beautiful.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another special Christmas party episode of Not Another Conspiracy Podcast with your host number one in Michigan, who's now gone green again. But we'll just
come on!
It's fine because you're recording it. It won't go green.
I'm recording it. We're good. Big bad green man.
In Michigan, we have Mr. Dean Salter.
Hi everybody, happy Christmas. It's
And
probably
he's
way
Bruce
too
Banner.
late for that, but
And he's wizard cloak.
my D&D wizard thing.
The Emerald City!
In the Emerald City, there is a goblin just round the corner. What you gonna do?
He's so green. He's
green.
so green.
I could just see
Green
two
goblin, there we
little
go.
eyes.
I could just see headphones floating around in a green space.
I don't know why I'm currently on the interwebs on Google trying to figure out.
Don't
Everyone's
worry
complaining about it, but it don't matter. I'm not
It
really
don't
green.
matter.
I'm not a goblin.
It'll be a
And
talking point.
in York, England. Not in tier. What are you in? Tier 3 or tier 2?
I'm in tier 1, baby.
Tier 1.
Damn.
Oh, no. I'd say that back, actually. We went into tier 2 like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, tier 2. So pubs are closed for the year as well. We
I
have
keep forgetting there's another one.
tier 2 York, Mr. JJ Jackson.
Hey,
Hello,
good to see you.
Dude, safe and unseen.
Tier 4, baby.
Tier 4, lockdown. Can't
It's
leave
like-
the house.
It's like the government are like going to release like a fucking war zone season pass in a moment. Like, what tier are you on? Tier 4.
Tier
unlocked-
4.
You unlocked a purple badge. There you go.
Ah, Lieutenant.
And you go, leveled up.
Mr. Ben Mills.
There we go. From the land of Boris Johnson is a fucking cunt. Can I just comment on that as well? A local lad from Basildon that Ben's totally aware of.
Oh, cunt gang.
Country gang.
He's currently at number 5. If for anyone that has no idea who he is, he's a comedian from Essex, very close to where me and Ben live.
He's played our
Ben-
mate's back garden.
Yeah, you were there, weren't you? Yeah. we had him play our mate's back garden for I think was it his 21st? I think it was his 21st.
21st, I
something,
think, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, he's released a song called Boris Johnson is a fucking cunt. And
Or a
it's
sausage roll if you want the
That's it.
radio edit.
for the radio edit. And it's actually number 4 in the UK, number 5 in the UK charts right now.
It's-
Amazing stuff.
Yeah, and you know what? Every line of it is absolutely true.
It is. The lyrics are so well written. So
Just
accurate.
to quickly intervene, his album. Oh my god. Just in case anyone is interested. And the record label is called Disco Minge, which is slang term for a woman's vagina.
Disco Minge. What a label. I want to be on
Hang on.
Disco Minge. Do you reckon he'll put out a live DVD plus on his label?
Oh, fucking I reckon
Fucking
anything. I
hell!
love it.
I'm trying
Go
to
on.
find the. I'm trying to find the album.
The album
The-
cover.
the-
It's like something like Boris Johnson's a fucking cunt as well.
Oh my god! And he's got one called Donald Trump is a cunt, which is basically the same song, just him replace the words.
I love him.
He's multinational.
Yeah,
I'll find
I
it
love-
later. I can't find it now.
He is also responsible for such songs like Fuck Sticks and
Fuck Sticks is a fucking banger.
Use My Arsehole as a cunt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Another great song. The-
I
Congratulations.
have a little wank and I have a little cry.
It's such fantastic comedy. Like, have you ever YouTubed some of his Edinburgh Fringe Festival sets? They're phenomenal.
He's brilliant.
You've got to check him out.
It's just-
Listeners, honestly, you've got to check him out.
Check him out, Cut and the Gang. This good job we're not monetized on YouTube because we would have instantly been monetized from the beginning.
Wouldn't have even got the yellow dollar sign. It would have just been none. Nothing at all.
You get nothing.
To be precise, though, that's cunt with a K, not a C.
I was just about to say, yeah.
He's edgy.
He does look like Scandinavian as well, which is weird.
Yeah.
He looks like some sort of crazy ski dad.
What's weird, though, I've never seen him without his wig.
No.
So I have no idea what his actual hair
We-
looks like.
It's Ben. Ben
Yeah.
gels his hair up. Did you notice that while you were in your friend's back garden, Ben wasn't there?
Oh,
And then
well,
he
yeah.
left and he was like,
And they
"What's
came
all that
back.
stuff in your hair, Ben?"
Oh, I'm back. Oh god, he has a little goal as well on his shoulder that was called Mini
Guys,
Cunt.
yeah, Mini
Sorry,
Cunt, yeah.
sorry.
It was so good. It was so good. He's still good. So today's episode is a special end of year summary / Christmas party / future
chillax podcast, maybe.
It's a podcast where we talk about what's happened this year, I guess, because we've done 15 episodes now. This will be our 15th episode.
Something like that.
Yeah, and I didn't think we'd be as consistent as we kind of are, considering the circumstances.
Relatively consistent.
I'd say I'll give myself a pat on the back for how we're doing, boys.
So
I reckon
when did we start? When did the podcast start? Just
July, was it?
Okay, so that's like halfway through this amazing year we've had, and there's so many things prior to that were quite amazing, which we're gonna go through. I think we're just gonna do a year in review.
Yeah, year in review, like our own YouTube rewind of the not another conspiracy. But you've got to think, if we've done 15 episodes in the space of 6 months, that's bloody impressive.
Yeah. And they're not short.
No, they're not short, and for the fact that we were just like, to begin with, we were like, we'll do it as a hobby, just for a bunch of mates to get together and just shoot shit. But like, wow, we've got an immense community in Discord, which is amazing. I didn't think it would take off as it is. We're getting numbers on YouTube. We're getting people watching the live streams as well. It's all a bit nerve-wracking, boys.
It's good.
But you know what? It means that someone closer to me doesn't have to listen to my shit.
Yes.
But and I know we're talking about, like, I guess this was probably what we would say at the end, but if anything, the podcast has made me more skeptical and more like question things deeper, rather than just going, the government did.
I believe
that. The government.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's actually made me more skeptical, but logical. Like, it's made me actually, instead of taking everything like kind of, when it comes to conspiracies, being like reading a headline and being like, yeah, totally fucking believe that. Like, actually sort of going, well, hold on a minute, I want to hear both sides of the stories here. Particularly when we, I know we're going to go through it, but for example, when we were covering Bob Lazar, I thought we were rather critical on certain aspects, especially JJ, for instance. JJ was very logical on a history of him going through his school and his studies and stuff like that, which I think is obviously important when it comes to it. So I think it's sort of something good that we've grown into, considering we're hosts of our own podcast. Like,
I think we owe it to the at least 40 fans that we have.
Well, yeah, like, without a doubt.
Yeah, we owe it to them to actually put some effort in and do it properly. I guess if we just went, I totally believe everything, it would just cheapen the actual podcast, I think.
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's and I think it's probably influenced from a lot of the stuff that we even get our own research from and do our own research, because I'd rather listen to like, for instance, we've shouted them out so many times, those conspiracy guys. Like, their podcast is great because they're very, very thorough, but they also are logical. And I think we've taken heavy influence from that, in the sense of that, I don't know whether we intended to, but it's almost just second nature to actually sit there and be like, well, is that the way it really is?
Yeah.
You know? I think
especially I totally agree. Wait, JJ?
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. Like you say, we obviously just decided to do this as a laugh, didn't we? And now things are starting to, like, obviously, if you're in our Discord group, you will know that we're doing our first guest, I believe. I think he's our first guest.
He is our first guest.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, man.
It's a big deal. And he's been on other big-ish podcast, so we're just like, and the funny thing is, he approached us, so there must be something where he's like, these guys are fucking idiots, I'll convince them, and we're all just like, them over well.
So you're not married to the globe.
So what JJ's saying is, we got contacted by a particular person. I'm sure everybody in the Discord has heard it, but we've been contacted by, I guess, a name in the Flat Earth Society or Flat Earth community.
Yeah.
From what I can gather, he's one of the big names in the Flat Earth community. He's the
most vocal. He's got an app, so
he has.
Yeah, $2.99 though. I ain't paying $2.99 for his app. Hopefully,
Maybe that's it.
He's not convinced me.
He's just coming on. He's made £6 straight away. He'll be like, before we do the interview, guys, you've got to get the app. Really?
Really?
No.
I think if he convinces me to buy his app, that'd be a win for him. Like,
just imagine if we bought the app and then he was like, my connection is, and then his connection's gone. And then we have to talk about flat Earth for 2 hours.
See, looking at things logically, everybody.
Yeah, I don't. And speaking of the flat Earth thing, I don't know whether to do my research or just wait, or just listen to him and just go.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I know enough about flat Earth. I think I'm just gonna listen to what he has to say.
No,
and I know 100%. I'll just be like, oh my god, flat Earth's real.
But then
there's no curvature.
It's going to be a very good way to actually go about doing that podcast if it does come to fruition, because, well, I'm literally disagreeing with myself as soon as the words are coming out of my mouth, because I do not want to sit there and go, I don't want that to happen to me, on the internet. Like, my parents would just be like, never had a kid, get him out of here, fucking sling in the dumpster.
I don't want to, but I want to have that seed of doubt and go, he makes a fair point there. But
in that case, but you're a fucking smart nutcase.
But yeah, and I also don't want to as well just go, you're a fucking idiot, I'm not listening. I really want to. Right. I think if I listen to or do the research before, I'm gonna be like, I don't believe it. It's all bullshit. Like, it's been debunked. I've Snopesed it or whatever. This is
Snopesed it.
I
love that terminology.
I don't believe it. But if I go in there just not knowing anything or what he's going to say, at least then I'm open to it.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to be, because my friend Niall said it perfectly the other day. He said, when we're talking about stuff, and he's like, well, just tell me what you know. And I'm like, and all of us at some point have gone, nah, do your own research. And he's like, why would I? You spent a lot of fucking time. You tell me. But then they want the evidence, which you can't give them like what you've seen. Like, you can't give them the graphs because your brain doesn't work like that. You can't be like, oh, well, here's this graph, so it's like,
look at
certain infographics you look at immediately kind of go, but you want to take in what you want to hear, don't you? You don't,
Well, with Elon Musk's Neuralink, which was announced this year as well, bringing it back to 2020, you probably could eventually just share graphs.
Just like that.
I've got Excel installed. Wait, let me see. Have you got your Office 365 login? Yeah.
Hold on a minute.
Here it is.
Your file is a docx, not a doc.
Damn. Just imagine though.
Oh, sorry. I'm on Neuro iOS. I need it in numbers. I can open. Yeah, great. Yeah.
I was just thinking, if they bring out this, like, do you remember there was that app? I think it was called Bump, and apparently it was like you bumped your phones together and it Bluetoothed the files.
Yeah.
Imagine if Neuralink's something like that, but you have to, like, I don't know, get your dick out and touch tips. Or like, like Avatar. In Avatar, where you have to, like, wangle your fucking dick together to another fucking beast. I can show you the information, Niall. I can show you it, but
let me just open my USB port for you.
Oh, man. If you are circumcised, open your foreskin up for entry. Oh,
so grotesque. So
the
Neuralink.
No, JJ's put that in my head now. Like, I can't get. One day we're just going to be going, look, touch it together. Touch it together. No, wrong.
You're saying...
now the app's
closed. Turn Bluetooth on! It doesn't work without Bluetooth!
You're saying I put it in your head and your brain's just saying, wrong input. USB device was removed unsafely.
Live on the edge, mate. Live on the edge. I'm fine with computers.
Oh, no, you pulled out.
Not in my mouth. My USB ports.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay.
Right. No, 2020, as everyone will know, has been a bit of a shit year.
It's been a shitstorm.
But it's been a great year for conspiracies,
It
paranormal, just general people that want to see the world burn. Literally, because on January the 1st, the Australian bushfires were going fucking mental.
Do you know what? I absolutely forgot that even happened.
Yeah.
Like, and
Black Summer.
And that was to a point where it was like, how many millions of animals were killed? Like, as well, they were talking about how much, like,
500 million.
I thought we were doing the really late night phone service when you've stayed up late and recorded RoboCop, and you've got an advert.
50. But actually,
I thought you were talking about those other late night things.
No, that was
that was the one we got down south. That was the jingle that nobody gets.
50.
It's so solidified in your mind. It's in the same category
the party
as
chat.
First Class Windows. The First Class Windows.
Oh, no, 688.
First Class are the best. Call them up and you'll see. Chelmsford 22688. But anyway,
there's a car giant one.
Bushfires.
Bushfires, yeah, and the Australian government fucked that up big time as well. They weren't happy.
47 million acres. 47 million acres.
And that's just people don't live there. People don't live there anyway. It's just this land that people don't touch.
And I find it mad. It just goes to show how maddening 2020 has been. Because of the fact that I completely forgot about that, but go back to that number, 47 million acres burned, like to a degree of some of it where it cannot be harvested on. Like the soil is ruined for like agriculture. It will take like years for trees to go through. I remember I went to visit my uncle in Montana, and we went hiking through like National Glacier Park and stuff. And if you looked across a certain area, you could see where a wildfire had occurred, and how long it took for the trees to finally like start growing again. And it was like, that's been there for like 30 odd years. It was like,
still killed less people than COVID-19 though, didn't it? What's the real danger? Fire or virus?
Just a cold.
Dave's Forks from Pitsy Market every Sunday.
Just the flu, mate. It's just a flu.
It's just a fucking flu. That's true.
So yeah, the
like,
fucking some trees burnt down in Australia.
Yeah, and that was
some trees burnt down.
That was day one of 2020. Australia was on fire day one. Man,
you know what the fucking Australians are like?
Yeah.
One of them was just like, let's just set something on fire. I don't know what accent that was.
I'm sorry to Australians for him maligning.
No, don't worry, I'll do it. Just set fucking things on fire, mate. Just drop a city out the fucking window.
Or if you're in Los Angeles, just do an Essex accent and they'll think you're from Australia.
Yeah.
Idiots. Fucking idiots.
Americans that are listening to this podcast that are curious where I am from. I am not from Australia. I'm actually on the other side of the
Neither am I, mate.
Never mind. I get people, they go, oh, but you say mate a lot. I was like, have you never heard an Englishman say mate? I was like, we call
mate
that
and
word
cunt,
because
same word.
At the end of the day, everyone in Australia was originally English, and from Britain at least. Like,
including Jack the Ripper.
Oh, no, he weren't an Aussie. We'll get to that, though.
I'll be honest, I can't remember any of that podcast, so it could have been from fucking Mars. Could have been from fucking
8
Mars.
hours of content.
So I feel like we're doing like the Pepsi chart on the radio here, counting down the tragedies of 2020.
It was considered a state of emergency. Day 2 of 2020, there was a state of emergency in Australia.
An entire continent on fire. So it's like everyone like buckle in for 2020, but the rest of the world is just like, well, there's a lot of water in the way over there. I think we're all fine.
Has anyone even checked in on Australia recently? Because on the TV and shit, don't hear anything about Australia anymore. Did it just burn away?
Well, no, I think
I'm in tier 4. What has Australia got that I haven't? I'm in tier 4.
I think they've got nearly 90 days COVID-free, I think was the last everything I heard. So
exactly.
Right. Yeah,
no one's got any fucking oxygen to breathe, so there's no transmission.
Everyone's
just connecting with their dicks.
Everyone's dead. They've got no COVID in Australia. Yeah, there's no one's alive. They're all on fire.
Everybody's dead, guys. Everybody's dead. But then,
no COVID.
So
I mean, there was, moving on. There was a lot of other shite that year, like mostly war stuff, but that's not interesting, is it?
So then, after Australia's burnt to the ground, or continuing to burn to the ground at that point, on January the 8th, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle called it quits. P45'd themselves out of the royal family.
Yeah.
Like, that didn't even make it on my list.
Yeah. And Dean totally missed like the whole almost World War III that happened between January the 3rd and January the 7th.
Might I add, I've come straight from work on this, and I've put the link that Ben left in the Discord. So I actually put the list that you guys created.
That's the one that I've got.
I feel on fire.
I tell you what other link I've got, Wikipedia.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, so yeah.
So let's go back to World War III that nearly happened.
That was when in the Persian Gulf, remember there was a plane got shot down in it or something? No, they killed the general. They killed the Iranian general.
Yeah.
The American, and then Donald
Qasim Soleimani.
I love how you're cracking your ass off at the potential of World War III.
But then
they shot some bloke and nearly pressed him.
But Donald Trump was like, they killed a monster. He was a very bad monster. Like, he talked about him like he was a baddie in kids film, like a kids TV show. He was a monster, a very bad monster, and that monster is alive no more. The monster is dead.
It's like they were talking about the Grouch from fucking Sesame Street. Not that it had any potential implications on the world. Oh, him, yeah. He was a twat. He was a rock prick. Him.
I think, because they blew up in retaliation. They blew up what they thought was a
US
plane
or whatnot.
Yeah, a plane. And they just blew up
it was just. It was like plane. It just had its winging like a bot, just in one border, didn't it? So
yeah,
like, that's enough, boys. And they're like
176 people dead.
It's like two siblings sitting there going, "Don't touch me! I'm not touching you! I'm not touching you! I'm not."
Mommy's enemy! No!
I wish I could see your expressions, Dean. You're just a green blob.
Just like that. Just some headphones floating in space.
And just two very piercing black eyes just poking through.
I wonder if I can keep chatting. I'm going to see if I can.
Okay.
Capitalize.
All right, I know. And then January the 8th, we had Meghan and Harry, which we need to get into. So we'll go that. But I just need to say that. Bear in mind, we've had Australia completely on fire. World War III has nearly happened.
Yep.
A prince has left the royal family, and then the next day, January the 9th, they discovered a planet.
Nobody cares about that. Let's just forget about the planet. Let's just fucking forget all that shit.
Yeah, and then in the same day they discovered a planet in Boko Haram, 89 Nigerian soldiers were killed in a military base. But let's go back to Harry and Meghan. Right, why do you think they left the royal family?
I need to think about this one. I feel like I'm a little bit on the spot. For anyone listening that just JJ going mental, I just put a virtual background of Jimmy Savile behind me for all the listeners, at least. Anyway, I capitalized.
And he was also green.
Oh, he was. Oh, God.
He was also really green.
I personally think that Meghan and Harry left because Harry's just fucked off with the royal family. Personally, I think he's just done with the whole pompousness of it, and he just genuinely wants a normal life. Or sorry, JJ, go.
No. I'm with you on that. But you know, when we were talking about when we did our Princess Diana thing, so loads of people have pulled me up on this, and I don't know whether it's to do with that program, The Crown, but apparently Princess Diana didn't meet his dad, who we thought might be
We
his
said
dad,
that in the podcast, though.
until way afterwards. But I'm almost certain that they did.
Yeah, no. Even in The Crown, they allude to the fact that she was seeing him before. So,
why all of a sudden are everyone? Because like
all
the royal correspondents now are saying, "Oh no, she," and I'm just like, I'm sure it's fact. I'm sure that is fact.
We said on the podcast that James Hewitt said that he'd never met Diana before
Harry was born.
Before Harry was born, but there are
but
there are actually physical letters, proving that she had been with him before.
Right. Okay. So I had an argument in the studio about it, and I'm like, I'm 100%, and of course, just like what we've just been talking about, everyone's like, show me the proof, and I'm just like, I've got a fucking tattoo machine in my hand, I've got a fucking mask over my face, I've got a mask on my mouth, I've got my glasses on, I've got rubber gloves, I'm wearing a fucking apron, and you want me to just, all right, no worries.
Yeah, hold on.
Here's the proof. And they're like, all right. And then you sit down again. Show me the proof. What? They don't need the proof.
Yeah.
There he is.
And as if The Crown isn't signed off by the royal family. It's not
I think
it has to be.
It has to be to an extent, doesn't it?
Sure.
But they were kicking off, weren't they?
Well,
really bad with the Diana thing.
There's got to be some broadcasting laws, because how the fuck does South Park get away with like?
Well, they want to be cancelled, don't they? They want to be cancelled.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is if someone is in the public eye, for instance, like the royal family,
there's a parody law.
There is some form of law. Sure.
Yeah, there's a parody law. That's why you can get away with doing parodies on YouTube.
Right.
So
okay.
We were just briefly talking about the AI thing that we talked about earlier on. Just for anyone who didn't hear it, they're talking about the AR thing that's in the new iPhone, which can basically create people within spaces. Did anyone see the fake Queen speech?
No.
We'll talk about it when we get to December.
Yeah.
But that was weird.
Well, have you seen Sassy Justice?
What's that? What?
The creators of South Park and Peter Serafinovich have made a YouTube series, all done with deepfake. Right, the main host is Donald Trump in a wig, and it's in a different voice all the way through. Until the end, I was like, "Fuck, that's Donald Trump's face through the whole thing," and then there's Donald Trump having conversations that don't exist. Like, it's Peter Serafinovich.
Yeah, his voice is
his face and his voice are exactly the same. The whole thing is done with deepfake.
I don't like this.
Sassy Justice.
We'll talk about it when we get to the Queen's speech, which is December.
Yeah.
But the Mark Zuckerberg thing on Sassy Justice, which came out in August, so I should really wait. But it is brilliant because they've just put his face on. It's perfect. His mouth moves, but he doesn't blink at all.
Of course he doesn't. Mark Zuckerberg don't blink. He's a lizard.
Mark Zuckerberg's already doing the, you know what I mean, the avatar thing. He's riding his horse by putting his dick in it.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
Awful.
So
awful.
I think that because they left in January and it weren't long until all the Epstein, Prince Andrew stuff came out. I reckon they've been briefed on what has happened. He's like, I'm out. Fuck this. I've got kids now. I'm not interested. I want out.
And like,
and you're not going to get rid of him. You're not going to like disown him. You're just gonna go. We've removed him from public duties.
It makes you like it's blatantly something to do with that. Granted, I did say that I think they just don't want anything to fucking do with him.
Well, and the press absolutely hounded
the reason. Because they're fucking weirdos. Like, oh, don't sweat. Bollocks, you don't. You donate it, you fucking weird cunt.
The guy's fucking. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. But
yeah.
I think that had something to do with it. I think the way the UK press treated Meghan was disgusting.
Yeah,
racist. Well, just racist. It was just.
It is.
Like, it was crazy.
Pure like. The people sitting there being like, oh, she's turned Harry away from his like royalty, and I'm like,
he was never going to be king though. He was like sixth in line.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm like, good. He's actually found a normal person that's trying to make him feel normal in a family that is fucking like fucked up.
Yeah,
They
it shouldn't exist.
Off his mother, and they've got some bloody uncle who just longs it off with pedophiles, and it's
is a pedophile. Is a pedophile.
Is. Like, no wonder he's sitting there going, marrying her and getting her up the dump quick enough and just being like, please get me out of this.
So his nan and his dad killed his mum.
Yeah.
His uncle is a rapist of children.
Yep.
And the UK press have basically racially abused his wife since the moment they met. Right. How do we get out of this? Leave the royal family. Okay. Oh, and guess what? Netflix is going to give you £6 million.
Just to do it.
I'm going! I'm out!
It's like when they paid David Blaine to fly to fucking Mars with them balloons. And it didn't happen, so Netflix just removed it. They're literally like, big premiere, give him all the money, he tried it, it didn't work, so they just removed all the advertising. Everyone forgot about it. And like, I was just like, is he still up there? Because I was following the whole thing. I was just like, is he still up there?
I didn't even know that happened.
He just got, because did you hear what
live
he was
on
doing?
YouTube as well.
Yeah,
I did not even know that happened.
He was flying up with these balloons, and he was, once he got to a certain height, he was taking his the harness off and then pricking the balloons to like come back down. And then he let go after it. Yeah, it was just fucking bullshit.
I only was just like, because of the Joe Rogan podcast.
12 million.
I didn't know anything about it.
$12 million, I think.
Wow, I'm going to have to watch that.
It's because Australia
nothing happens. It's rubbish.
The royal family was falling to pieces. No one actually gave a fuck about David Blaine once.
Who gives a fuck about David Blaine?
But much like everything in this year's news, no one gave a fuck about anything, because I think Ben's just about to say about the planet that they found.
Yeah, so they found a planet and no one gave a fuck. No one gave a fuck. They didn't even name it. They didn't even name it. It's TOI 1338.
No, that's Elon Musk's kid.
No, Zing.
Sorry, TOI 1338b.
And it's called a circumbinary planet, which is allegedly rare. And a circumbinary planet is a planet that orbits two stars instead of one. Planets in stable orbits around one of the two stars in binary are known. New studies showed that there is a strong hint that the planet and stars originate from a single disk. Thanks for that.
Disk of
a single flat disk.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Zing.
And then obviously,
zing.
And then there was a massive shoot up in a Nigerian military base. The same day as that. The Sultan of Oman died.
Couldn't find a conspiracy in that one, so we're moving on.
Yeah.
Jesus.
They were just shot.
People are just awful.
Yeah, 89 people were just killed, but hold on a minute. Lizard people.
Yeah. People are just cunts.
Oh man.
So the big one here. I mean, there's two big ones. I don't know. So the president obviously was in a bit of shit around then. The impeachment of the trial, the impeachment trial of Donald Trump. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know a lot about it. Not interested.
It was difficult to follow over here in the US because you've got left and right leaning
biased media.
You don't have anyone in the middle. Like in the US, you absolutely do not have anybody in the middle. That was a very strange one. But just before the impeachment, a huge volcano erupted. Tal volcano in Luzon.
Yes.
Don't know where that is, in the Philippines. So we're getting to a point where 2020. Well, this is 16 days in total into 2020.
The death rate is high already, right?
We've
just before you start on this one, it would be interesting because I've never done this before. Surprisingly, it would be interesting to compare this to other years.
That would
because
be very
maybe shit like this just happens all all the time, and because they don't affect us, we're just like, nah, who cares?
Whatever.
Volcanoes killed 1,000 people. It's January the 12th. Who's bothered? I'm still stuffed from Christmas dinner.
That's.
My house was like a volcano this morning. I'll tell you that. I'm just curious. Like maybe 2019, the same thing happened. It'd just be
16 days into January, we've had a continent nearly burned to the ground. Mass evacuation efforts out of New South Wales as well going on. There was a drone strike in the Persian Gulf that nearly caused World War III. You had, hold on, a plane crashed. 56 people are reported killed, over 200 injured. Oh no, that was a crush or whatever, a Persian Gulf crisis, or in a crush, like at the funeral of the general that was killed. Wow, blimey, domino effect. So he
Popular
was killed,
guy.
and then loads of people were killed because he was killed. And then you've got the volcano happening, evacuating. Mother Nature's pissed off. She don't want to see it. Like not Bill Hicks. Rufus, fucking George Carlin said,
George Carlin.
Humans are just a bad tick, and one day the Earth's just going to go and shake it off like a disease or something like that. It's almost like that's.
And then January 30th came.
What?
Yeah. Oh.
That's the.
I don't know if anyone at home.
Ben. God Christ. My eardrums. What's that?
Yeah.
January the 28th, Dean lost his hearing. But yeah,
and turned bright green.
Yeah. January the 30th. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
COVID-19.
Which is quite funny because you sounded like the Hulk and you now look like him as well, which is good. So the thing that no one stopped talking about all year, which is fucking getting right on my tits now. I'm sick of it. I'm just sick of hearing about it.
It's a bit hard not to talk about it, though.
2020 Royal Rumble winner is COVID, and it ain't even over yet.
I know. Should we just end the podcast now? And the rest of the year just went pretty much downhill.
It's such a strange.
It got better a little bit, and then it went downhill again.
It's so strange that it was a public emergency in January, right? January the 30th, public emergency by the WHO, the WHO, and no one in the UK did anything about it till the end of March.
Of course not. But we're bloody British. We won the war. We'll do it again.
and nothing has happened, and they haven't done anything properly about it since the country.
I remember when that first occurred. There was a politician that had filmed. Oh no, I think it was an MP, was it a journalist? One of the two. It was a fucking human being. It doesn't matter. He came out of a terminal after flying into Heathrow and videoed himself coming off of the plane through the terminal and then up through customs and shit. And he was just like, I have not once been asked where I've been, had my temperature checked, or any form of security to make sure that I'm not absolutely riddled with COVID-19. Like nothing.
So we went
riddled.
We went snowboarding in Austria
in January,
in February.
Oh, okay.
And we didn't know it, and still there was no question about it. No one thought about it. No one talked about it. I don't even think we mentioned it once the whole time we were there. No. Right? And then
sounds bliss.
It was brilliant, right? So
I remember life.
In March when it started kicking off and people were going, oh yeah, it's actually quite bad. We might be fucked. A thing went up about the resort that we'd stayed in Austria, and it was going, Japanese super spreader stays in and then he goes in and it was like,
he's a serial super spreader.
Like
was he literally going around on a snowboard? Was he just like
coughing?
No, he'd been to, basically he had COVID-19, but he'd also, at the time that he was infectious, been to like 13 countries.
All he wanted to do was get on Ski Sunday.
Yeah.
He caused a global pandemic, the bastard.
So obviously the war in Yemen's still kicking off. That started in January as well.
I mean, we should probably, unless there's any major ones in terms of war, we should probably just get past those ones, because like I genuinely believe that if we were to do this every year, we're gonna be very, very upset, sad people, because all this stuff that happened, thousands and thousands of people died. Whatever. Let's just blank them ones out. Let's just
Jeez.
Let's just erase them off the Neuralink.
All right, okay.
Off the Neuralink.
And then that's the end of the podcast, everyone. It was just COVID until now. I'm joking.
Even if it was just COVID, it would have been a shit year. But
yeah,
I mean, let's celebrate February the 5th. Donald Trump
being the president.
Innocent of well, what do you know why he was being impeached?
We talked about it briefly, but I still don't know. It was
because he was trying to dig up dirt on Joe Biden.
Oh, Joe Biden and his son or something.
And his son in Ukraine. And
this was on all the stuff on his laptop.
Yeah, well, no, that's later on. The laptop's later on. That's the end of the year.
Right.
This is before, because obviously Trump knew that Biden was going to. They always know who the next runner's going to be, don't they?
Yeah,
I thought it was to do with the. I thought
Russia.
He was having conversations with Russia. Yeah, I thought that's what it was.
It was to do with Russia, but you nipped off a little bit before, Ben.
Yeah.
I was me and JJ just briefly kind of touched on it ever so slightly, but it's impossible to get the truth over here in
bullshit,
the US,
man.
because the media is either left or it's right. There is no middle. I think NPR is the only sort of like website you can get an actual neutral look at news, and you can do so by just looking at the headlines. Like, the headlines aren't massively sensationalized.
Yeah.
But that whole impeachment thing, when it was going on, you switch to one channel and it's like, yeah, get him out. He did this, he did that.
Yeah.
And then you go to Fox or NBC or whatever, and it's like, oh, the Democrats are just lying. They're not doing like. And you don't get shut the fuck up, the both of you. Get two actual logical ones between you both, meet in the middle and start having a chat.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you do not get real news over here in the States. You just do not. It doesn't happen.
Until not another conspiracy podcast happened, and now you do.
Gets our own TV show, didn't we?
It's fake news. Fake news.
And then finally, the disease, the virus, got a name in February.
Yeah, I think that's the big one for me. The one that's probably niggled me more than thousands of people dying is naming something just so shitly. Like, name it something fun.
Like swine flu or bird flu.
Yeah, something
or
fun.
Ebola.
COVID.
Ebola.
What's that?
COVID
sounds like something you do something with a tie.
Yeah.
I don't, it's not.
It's a tie knot, isn't it? Or it's a knot.
COVID knot.
Who taught you how to code?
Because that's literally all it made me want to do, is fucking put a tie around my neck and throw myself off a bridge. Obviously with the tie attached to the bridge, not just get smartly dressed and throw myself off a bridge.
I was going to say, you'd be looking really
Go
smart.
swimming in a suit.
Out of the IT crowd, just jumping out the window.
It is a shit name.
JJ's done.
We've had bird flu. We've had swine flu. We've had SARS, Ebola, all brilliant names for viruses and diseases. And
then you get, hold on.
Corona.
COVID. I'm COVID. That's me, you're COVID.
You know what I mean? No.
Yeah, and
it's
such one of those Karen words as well now. It's just become like
COVID.
You're walking down the supermarket, everything was fine until COVID. Our Barry was working all the overtime in the world until COVID happened. And now he's a full-blown alcoholic. That's where I got these black eyes. You know what I mean? It's just done too much. It just gets under my feet. I tell you what, I just like time on my own. And it's just under my feet all the time. COVID this, COVID that. And then coronavirus. Ugh. Coronavirus, just fuck off.
And then the bit when people are showing you bottles of bleach that are like, look, they knew about it. They knew about it. With it's like,
it's like COVID-1.
It's a subgenre of a name, you fucking plum.
So let's skim over that shite. NASA publishes...
every month there's going to be a mention of COVID, I think.
I think that's probably... I mean, March looks pretty bleak. I'm pretty sure it is literally just COVID.
Looking at March, just scanning it, it's in every sentence, so we'll just skip March. I
was going to say, March, you're a letdown, mate.
So
what
again...
a boring month March has been.
What was the
This sounds interesting. These detailed study of Arrokoth, the most distant body ever explored by a spacecraft, which sounds incredible. Again... Right. I've only just found out about it because they didn't report. Arrokoth.
What date?
13th of February.
NASA publishes detailed study Arrokoth. That's a name.
It's a meteor. It's just a meteor.
It looks like something that you leave at the bottom of a KFC bucket, doesn't it? It looks like a drumstick.
I mean,
why didn't they call it Comet KFC or KF Comet? Missed a trick there. Fuck me. Come on. I'm here all week, boys.
Drumstick danger.
But wow, like
that would be the headline of the Sun. Drumstick danger. Giant drumstick heading towards Earth, and everyone's like opening their mouth. Giant drumstick. Better than COVID.
Getting the KFC bucket gravy ready.
No, yeah.
That's amazing. That's incredible. Yeah. But like February 13th, just
again,
forget about it.
It's just so everything's just so bleak. But I think it's genuinely going to be like this if we ever did a review of 2000 and any year, because it's like, this one sounds amazing. Riots are reported in parts of Delhi, leading to over 2,000 arrests. 2,000 people arrested.
That's off.
53 diet as well. Like,
one big cable tie. It's just a cop is just walking around, just cable tying all these Delhi guys like together, and then they're all just like, they don't have a fucking police car big enough, so he just throws them on top of the police car, like the train.
Yeah.
It's like 1,000 of them just getting electrocuted. Fucking hell.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't remember 2019 being this disastrous. I haven't got 2019 in front of me, but I can't bother to go and have a look.
I think. Oh, you're saying 2019? Sorry, I think like.
I remember people going, "Oh, it's pretty bad." I think 2016 was a pretty bad year.
But again, this is what I'm saying. I think everything. If we were to go back and read any year, I think it would be like. I think everything that we're going to read that's interesting is just overshadowed by Donald Trump, the royal family, the fucking coronavirus, and Prince Andrew. Like, of course, and the Black Lives Matter thing. Like this year was massive, which I'm sure we'll get into. Can't even remember when that was now. And I don't think anybody on Instagram can, because it was all just a fucking, what was it called? Signaling.
Do you know what else was weird? January 26th, Kobe fucking Bryant. Helicopter smashed into a cliff.
It was that long ago.
January.
Fuck.
No, it weren't that long ago.
Yeah, 26th.
Well, this is what I was just going through in my head. I was sitting there thinking, I barely remember anything from the start of the year other than the fucking bushfires and COVID. Yeah. It just goes to show how like desensitized you've become to everything else. Like, and a lot of people have been saying that with regards to the whole Brexit thing. Like, if it weren't COVID, all we heard about was Brexit in the UK, wouldn't it? It was just Brexit. And now, like, oh shit, we made a deal, or we went out without a deal, didn't we? Like,
I mean, I think there was a deal.
It just they're now finalizing this deal, but it just goes to show you how you were talking earlier on about how media are like left and right. It shows how country biased media is, because I've just read here, Luxembourg becomes the first country in the world to make public transport free to use.
Yeah,
that's amazing. That's amazing.
If that happened in Britain, we'd have a fucking bank holiday. It would be like fucking bus day. You know what I mean?
If that happened in England, there'd be 50% of the population that would be against it.
Yeah.
If that was England, we'd go, no, I'm paying for my bus. I will not have a free bus. I will pay for my bus. Give me my bus. I will pay for I ain't no free bus. We don't have free buses in England. We pay for our buses.
I ain't a bloody student. Do I look like a student?
Trains? I will pay for a train. No way. I'll vote against free transport.
But again, just great news that I don't remember reading anything about.
The world.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a pretty bleak one. Like you said, March is. I love what you were saying before about how England just don't do anything about it. COVID-19 got declared as a global pandemic in March the 11th, and we didn't go into lockdown for another 2 weeks afterwards.
And I'm pretty sure in January, the people that mattered were sitting there going, there's a bit of a thing going on at the moment that's a bit fucking weird and could be a threat to humanity. Boris Johnson, we're gonna get Brexit done. Don't do it this way.
Yeah, it was something like 76 people, high up scientists, so who run the WHO, said it's a public emergency of international concern. Only the 6th time that has ever been invoked.
And you'd sit there and think governments would actually be like, fuck me, that's only the 6th time. Red light bulb, like.
I think as well. I think with the rest of the COVID stuff as well, the stuff we're going to be reading is knock-on effects of COVID. So it's kind of like one of those things that, again, I think it happens all the time. Like there's a lot of stuff about the stock market and shit like that. Stuff like that happens when it's a consequence of that, isn't it? It's not like
it's also interesting as well how paranoid a lot of people do end up becoming. Because did you hear that buzz? Yeah, sorry, I've got a game show going on behind me at the minute. I do apologise. Yeah. There's a studio back here. No. Anyway.
But no, actually, I've shit myself.
I've got a duck whistle in my arse. Sorry, most people now, it's not a case of like, oh, I've got a bit of the sniffles or I've got a bit of a cold. It's COVID. Oh, COVID. My nose is a bit blocked. COVID. Like a lot. Of
people don't say anything in case people think it's COVID.
Right, but at the same time as well, people are also going nuts. Like following on from JJ saying, this is like just basically a domino effect of what's going on. You look at news in the past around this year from any source of media, particularly in the UK. All of them are sitting there and saying hospitals at breaking point during the winter, like allergy season. But yet we seem to be, oh my God, all the hospitals are rammed at it. Oh my God. But it's like, really? Are they normally not rammed? Because I always recall hearing around Christmas time, like hospitals are fucking heaving.
When have you ever been in A&E and not had to wait for 3 hours?
No, I can't. Yeah, I can't.
During the height of COVID, you could get into A&E, in and out of A&E in an hour.
Oh, because
people won't go. No, I know someone who works there, in Hertfordshire, but because people weren't going, people won't go to hospital. They didn't use any of those pop-up hospitals. Any of those?
No, like what happened with the Excel Centre? Didn't they just get a few squatters and that was it?
It would be interesting to find out how much those cost as well. I'm pretty sure there were in Britain they were brinking on $1 billion. I'm pretty sure it was, and they didn't use. I think in one of them they used. I think it was something ridiculous. It barely reached double figures, and they had something like 900 beds.
It almost makes you wonder whether it was just an action to be like, oh look, we're doing something.
Well, it was in preparation.
I mean, the thing is, again, in Britain, if they hadn't have done it, there'd have been uproar. So, I remember when it all first kicked off. I've got a client who is pretty high up at Portakabin, and here's another wild rumor, whether it was true or not. They were hiring. The government were buying Portakabins, a lot of Portakabins, because they were going to use them as mortuaries. That was a big. That was a massive. That was no. If it is a lie, it must be internal, because the guy from Portakabin was saying we're getting these briefs and saying we need to build more Portakabins. Obviously, I don't know. It was probably because they wanted them as offices for the COVID thing, not for mortuaries. Yeah. But then, obviously, being Great Britain, everyone's just like, they're mortuaries.
Yeah.
Where would you put loads
of
fucking?
You're dead.
Where would be the last place you'd put loads of fucking bodies that have got a virus? You wouldn't put it in a one fucking cabin, would you?
Yeah. No. That bring out your dead was the only thing I posted on social media about COVID-19 ever, and it was in January. Choice. It was in January.
Great choice.
So I guess February there was a war in Syria. The war in Syria, the civil war in Syria started as well. But we're gonna see.
Whatever. Who cares? That happens all the time. Move on. COVID. Give me more COVID. I want to hear it.
The International Criminal Court authorized the Afghanistan war crimes inquiry to proceed, reportedly allowing for the first time for US citizens to be investigated. What happened? That should have been big news, right?
I'm sorry, when was that?
On March 5th, the International Criminal Court authorized the Afghanistan War Crimes Inquiry to proceed, and for the first time ever, US citizens were allowed to be investigated.
So yeah, I guess nothing came to fruition with that then, because I wouldn't hear about that over here. Could you imagine America hearing about their troops being trialed for war crimes in Afghanistan? Well, we're not the criminals.
Any
we're
American
criminals, I mean.
Anyone in America being a war criminal is what? Let's just ignore Vietnam.
President, don't you really?
Ignore Vietnam completely.
Yeah, forget about that.
And speaking of war criminals, I know this is December, but one's just died, and there was more of that in the news than the free fucking public transport in Luxembourg. A guy who was a fucking double agent for Russia. And it was like, double agent Russia. And I was just like, why is anyone fucking celebrating that? He was a double agent.
My father-in-law asked who he was, and he was like, "You heard of him, Dean?" It was obviously reported over here, and I was like, "Oh, I have fucking idea what a cunt is." And then
it was all over the fucking news. I heard about that.
For Russia.
Faster than fucking Sean Connery dying.
I still don't know.
Double agents fucking
George Blake's dead.
Yeah. My dad's like, that double agent. I'm like, what the fuck are you on about? He's 94 years old. I'm not gonna fucking know who he is, am I? And if I be a shit double agent, you know what I mean? Fucking...
I had no idea who he was. No idea.
Nah.
No.
Because he always walked around with a little fake nose and a mustache on and tiny little glasses.
He was doing his job right.
Oh, the cracker, yeah. Or was he?
Ooh. Another blooming crash of the thing. The pandemic gets worse.
Crash of the thing, is that the Dow Jones?
Yeah. They cancelled Eurovision.
I fucking hate Eurovision. I'm sorry.
Load
I
of
cannot
shit.
stand.
It's always funny how the Dow Jones always crashes just before the end of the financial year.
Ooh,
which I also find is quite funny that Britain didn't start our lockdown until the first week before the end of the financial year.
See,
and it looks like they might be doing it until the end of this financial year.
That's a moment where I would put my glasses on with my fake nose and mustache and get my whacking great cigar. See? Didn't expect that, did you?
Yeah, sorry I interrupted the Eurovision. That was bigger news in England than anything. You can't cancel our Eurovision.
I can't cancel that.
For American listeners, Eurovision Song Contest is basically the X Factor or whatever you want to call it. I don't know, fucking... What is it now? America's Got Talent, but it's consisting of a single singer or a group performing a song from a country within Europe.
It's all rigged.
It is the most
It's
rigged.
all rigged. It's all like no country can afford. There's only a few countries in Europe that can afford to host the Eurovision.
Yep.
So the countries that can't afford to host it put a really shit performer forward for it.
Yep.
And therefore they're not going to win, and that's how it works every year. England never win. England are never ever going to get Eurovision. They never win.
No.
Just a quick question. This is just me being stupid as usual. Will we still be in the Eurovision Song Contest next year?
That's a damn good point.
Yeah, because we're still part of Europe, aren't we? But we're not part of the EU. Right, okay.
Because Russia are part of Europe.
Yeah, Russia get a buy because they got money.
But it's
they got money.
And a lot of talent.
For the fact that, like Ben was saying, that it is the most rigged fucking talent show on television. What's even funnier is the hosts that we had for the Eurovision Song Contest. We had a guy, an old celebrity called Terry Wogan. Is it Terry? It was Terry Wogan, isn't it? Yeah, and all the commentary consisted of was him bad-mouthing other countries. And for instance, when the votes would come in, you would hear things like, and Bulgaria are voting for Luxembourg, of course they are. And then he would divulge why that country has voted for that particular country. And it's like, it's not because they're bordering there at the moment, is it? Like, and they're...
Grant Norton does it now, doesn't he?
Yeah, Grant. And I don't.
He's even more scathing. He's even more scathing. He's like, "Can you believe what she's wearing there?
Yeah. Can you?
What's she got that on her face for, a stupid cunt?"
But they just permanently sit there and badmouth other countries, and then like laugh at the fact that certain countries.
Do you know Americans will know because they did that Will Ferrell Eurovision film?
I was just about to say that thing. Yeah.
I forgot. Oh my god, yeah, forgot about that.
But I just
Never
started
saw it.
laughing at the Warzone thing. We'll explain it later, Dean.
All right.
Oh yeah.
All right. Okay.
When we get to December, we'll discuss that.
We'll discuss that bit.
So we're in April at the moment, and I just want to say we're at a point when it comes to COVID. I guess that will be the subcategory for this podcast.
Hang on a second. Sorry, Dean. Missed one here. I think this is hilarious. No, I can't believe we forgot this. Hadlar Solar Park is commissioned and becomes the world's largest solar park. I'm pretty sure the Sky's the biggest solar park in the world. What is a solar park? Can anyone? Is it literally a park where you look at stars?
Didn't Akon help build that?
Yes.
What date was this?
He did,
and that was in the news.
Why is Akon helping?
Because Akon decided to use all his fucking money to travel the world and fund fucking bullshit like that.
Jesus Christ, it is massive.
What? Hold on. What date?
What, the Sky?
No, the solar park. Is that half a Pakistan?
Oh, look at that rare thing up there. What's that, sir? That's the sun.
It's a big chunk of India, though.
What date was this?
March 20th.
March 20th. Okay. Massive Bahada Solar Park.
Yeah, it is pretty big. Granted, it's not as big as the sun. But
dude, let's be honest.
No, but granted, it's a solar park. I can look at the sky from anywhere in the world. I don't have to go to a park to do it. Just saying. Saying, Akon. If you want some money, give me it.
Pretty I mean, I don't know how solar panels work or anything like that. But
so it's not what I thought it was.
No, it's not, JJ. I thought you were just doing a bit.
I thought you were doing a bit as well.
I thought you were doing.
It's just loads of solar panels.
You see, I didn't look at the photograph.
I was thinking that's a pretty fucking cool thing to do.
I thought it was like a national park.
That's funnier than the bit. I thought you were doing.
It wasn't a bit.
This is a bit, isn't it? This is a bit. You're doing a bit in a bit.
No, because I wouldn't call it a solar park, would you?
Fun. It's fun.
Like a solar panel field.
Right.
Fucking hell.
I would call it a solar panel field, yes.
Yeah.
You're right.
I don't know
the solar park.
I don't know how solar panels
I'd call it Solar World.
Solar World.
Welcome to Solar World. We've got
I'd probably
solar
just call
panels.
it Akon World if I'd paid for it.
I don't know.
He didn't pay for this one. I've looked into it.
When it comes to the solar energy transfer into where it needs to go, because it's in the middle of fucking nowhere, I don't know if the energy depletes as it gradually. If you've got a too long Ethernet cable and you lose data,
it just gets worse.
So they go to plug in and it's barely anything. Where is it? It's fucking 5,000 miles away that way.
Akon's albums take that much power to process his auto-tune that he needed to create a whole park to do it. That's why it's just like, Akon. And it's just wearing out. The son's just like, I can't take any more. I can't give you any more, Akon. And he's just like, I'm going to build a solar park.
Gonna build me a solar park.
The production value just went way up.
Stop.
Oh, wow. So now that's cleared up.
But right, let's be honest though, bit aside, that's actually pretty dope that they've built
it's massive.
It's it's humongous, man. Absolutely humongous. Site area, it is 14,000 acres. 14,000 acres of solar panels.
I'd literally just be a kid where the fuck are the swings? Where are the slides? I am fucking
disappointed.
Here's the solar park. That's just loads of glass, sir. I don't know why I've become a school kid all of a sudden.
Put your sun cream on. Come here. You put it under your eye. That's it.
Right.
You look like a solar panel. Yeah. Little ginger kids just
going like that, fucking.
Oh, amazing.
Right. And in true, not another conspiracy podcast, we're over an hour in and we're only at April.
Still talking shit.
I'd say the first proper conspiracy around COVID starts in April. This is when it really kicks off the conspiracy.
Okay.
So But I'm going to give you a few rundowns because in April was also the Tiger King boom. With Tiger King,
man, that was an incredible month, wasn't it?
That was a month for Tiger King.
Or like a couple of weeks.
But until everyone started using Carol Baskin memes, and it got boring.
Like, let's be real, that was a bloody lovely getaway from this shit.
It was.
I think it's because everybody became a child again, didn't they? Because they were like, I don't know what the future holds now. This is it. I can sit at home and watch TV forever.
It was you know what it was? It was the first week of Christmas holidays when you were a kid, where you couldn't really go out because it was pissing rain.
And cold,
So, speaking of Tiger King, and like a segue, the first case of COVID on the 5th of April, the first case of COVID-19 in the zoo animal was reported. It was a
Malayan tiger
in Bronx Zoo. Yeah,
the Bronx, good band,
but also
very good band
indeed, brilliant band. We can all agree.
But yeah, first time that COVID has been contracted by a tiger.
Same day. King Mohammed VI of Morocco just pardons loads of prisoners because of the COVID measure. So they could social distance. He pardoned loads of prisoners. I mean, to be honest, if it's anything like the American judicial system, those blokes probably hadn't done anything wrong.
Yeah, they just got caught selling a bit of weed, or they had a bit of
had a joint on them,
chalk dust in their pocket, and they thought it was cocaine or something.
Oh, I skipped over the day before. In Turkey, they released 100,000 prisoners.
Ah, that's all right, isn't it? Lovely.
It's because they just arrested 2,000 people in Delhi, so they needed somewhere to store half of them.
Yeah.
Or maybe they were storing the 1,000 dead bodies that died. This
is also April 5th. It's the day that YouTube said it would remove videos promoting conspiracy theory that 5G masks led to the spread of COVID-19.
Demonetized.
Which is such a brilliant conspiracy.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I just let's break that down. So YouTube, quite possibly the biggest video on demand platform on the planet, has decided to remove any conspiracy that's linking 5G to COVID. Why?
Well,
just why? Because why?
And that's the conspiracy. Why does that one matter?
But yeah, why that one?
Because 5G at the current state that it's in. I told you guys last week, I think, or the last time, I got the 5G outside my studio, and it was nearly 200 meg.
What, download?
Yeah.
Woo!
Bear in mind, 4G in York is 20. So you've got to think the amount of content that they can put out on 5G straight to your phone.
Yeah.
That's full res, ads, fucking bye. Not like the Backstreet Boys.
No,
bye.
Which it is monetized, so you can't.
Yeah. So I mean, they obviously don't want 5G to be. I'm not saying that's my logical. That's my logical brain. Like that's why YouTube don't want it. Like they don't give a fuck with these crazy fucks like us talking about this shit. They care about the money.
Yeah.
It's just funny how that one they're just like none of that. It's like, well, hold on. They're comparing the Queen Mum to lizards. Like, isn't that a bit like no, that's just
the Queen Mum don't make them no money though, bro.
Right.
So, but
true that.
Apparently, it was because that four more mobile phone masts are set on fire, and broadband engineers have received threats.
It was big. That was big. That was starting to gain traction in England, Dean. There was hippie fucking tattoo artists like smashing them down, like breaking 5G masts. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, they look like a fucking eyesore. There's one right outside my house. Yeah. Like, why do they have to make it different than any other telegraph pole? It doesn't even look modern. It looks like a pole but upside down. It's just like, I don't know if they're the same in America, but they're like that, and then they go up. They're kind of like one of them Japanese sweets. The chocolate covered little stick.
I know the thing.
Yeah, they're kind of like that.
In America, they cover up most of their cell phone.
Well, this is the plan. What they were meant to be doing with the 5G, they were meant to be naturizing it or making it look like it was part of the environment. So they were painting them the same color as fucking trees and shit.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, No one gives a fuck. Like, literally, if you say, what do you want, this fucking telegraph pole or no telegraph pole, but you can't have Facebook, they're like, we want the telegraph pole. Just put it up, you know?
Yeah. What makes me laugh as well, one of the best viral videos that I saw of this whole like fucking, and I remember it being shared on Facebook. I was like, I've never seen birds do this. And it's an Australian dude filming the 5G mask. And they're like, look, even the birds are tearing it down. Like, and what makes me laugh though is I've kept birds for like my whole life. Like we had a bird aviary in our back garden, like forever.
It's like hostel.
Yeah.
Joseph Fritzl's house.
Yeah. We keep all the birds locked up outside, you know what I mean? Keep all locked up, all the birds, yeah.
Oh man. El Duce, they used to call me in my street. So zing.
Throwback.
But yeah, like if you've ever seen birds try and find anything to nest with, they will literally try to put, if they can't find anything that's worthy of nest material, that's the normal shit that they would find, they will start trying to tear things up. And it's no wonder that these birds were trying to get at this mast, because people had already tried destroying it and exposed loads of like cables and thermal stuff inside it. So all the birds were just going up and going, oh, free nesting material. And then you got dickheads down there going, well, look, the birds know. The birds definitely know. They
do know.
I must admit, there's been I don't know if you guys have ever heard of like it's like a hypersensitivity to telegraph poles, pylons. Sorry, there's like a correlation between that and certain people. Like, and there has been a lot of people complaining about the 5G things, and they have started saying that there is something. There was an issue with the first sort of
initial tests of it,
trials of them that were causing people to get migraines and things like that. And apparently it was a frequency thing, and it was to do with how high. So apparently in that wide bit of a 5G pole, the antennas, I guess they are, go all the way down to where it tapers. Apparently they've lost so much money because they've had to raise the actual signal part of the pole.
Okay,
higher,
yeah, I understand.
Because apparently it was like going, like, it sounds stupid, but apparently it's been going down. One of my friends works for BT Open, and they install them. And he was saying we've been getting loads of complaints in certain areas of headaches and things like that. And I think this is where this came from.
Is that not psychosomatic though? Is that just they go, oh, it's giving me a like 5G?
It very well could be. I'm not sure, but it's one of them things. Is it people? Is it imitating that, or is it actually happening in art imitating life?
So it's like, I don't know if this is like in comparison to it, but I always remember my dad telling me that down Canvey Way, Ben will know what I'm talking about here. Do you know obviously the big electrical pylons, the huge triangle things?
Yeah, because there's the big power. There's a big power station on there, right?
I remember my dad. I remember like. My dad knew that we used to go up to Adley Downs and just sort of go through all the fields and this, that, the other. And my dad was like, if you're doing that, and he was like, be careful and don't go near those electrical pylons or underneath them. And I was like, oh, why'd you say that? Dad sat there and he was like, you'll get a fucking headache for about a week. And it's awful. And that makes me wonder, because I've never forgotten my dad telling me. My dad's an electrician. He's been around those things. He was like, you stand underneath them, and he says, and they rattle your brain. And he says, there's something like not
electromagnetic hypersensitivity. It's called.
That's must be what my dad might have.
It's a proven thing.
Yeah.
You know, so
it makes you think.
I don't know if you guys have ever had it, but you don't get it anymore on the new iPhone. But if you're not earthed, so you're not touching the ground, and you're lying in bed and you touch the back of your iPhone when it's plugged in, it'll feel like a resistance, like a rubbery resistance. If you unplug it, your finger glides across it. Just try it. If you've got an old, I used to get it all the time. So if you're lying in bed and you have your iPhone plugged in, and
on the older metal back ones.
On the back ones, yeah. If it was plugged in, you used to get like a sort of rubbery resistance, as if it was skidding. Whereas as soon as you unplug it, your finger just glides over it.
That's fucking nuts.
And that's to do with the electric current going around the phone.
That's mad.
That's not hypersensitivity, but they're saying
it's kind of
people just became immune to it because they just expected it.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't know what you don't.
So another thing as well. I know this is a stupid one, but the length of your cock, the length of your iPhone or iPad cable. Try using if you use an long iPad cable, the typing on your screen doesn't work as well. It's slow because it doesn't register your fingertip because you're earthed. So it's not earthed. Sorry. So my mum's just like, Joe, every time I'm lying in bed on my iPad, my phone, my thing keeps skipping. I was like, is it plugged in? She's like, yeah, unplug it. She unplugs it and it works.
That's fucking crazy.
And it's to do with the electromagnetic pulse of your finger. So what I'm saying is that the 5G symptoms are from that. I read up on it because I do get to an extent hypersensitivity, but they've literally removed all the poles, not the telegraph poles.
In the park as well.
In the park near my studio, and I don't get it anymore.
Do you know what's funny though?
And I didn't know anything about it, but then I was like, all of a sudden started feeling a lot, calmer and shit.
I find it ironic that we're reading about, or we're jumping into this whole 5G thing, and it's on the back of us sitting there saying YouTube removes conspiracy theory videos about 5G. So this episode is not going to be on YouTube. But
I love 5G YouTube.
There is no conspiracy. There is no conspiracy.
Nah. People have known about hyper-electric sensitivity for years.
YouTube is brilliant. I think YouTube as a service is absolutely amazing, and I have nothing bad to say
Susan
about it.
Wojcicki should be the queen of world.
There you go.
Don't worry, we're safe, guys.
And Skip. Next thing.
Right, what else have we got? Go on.
Oh yeah, China ends its lockdown, but the main thing I saw was the Russian Imperial Movement was designated a terrorist organization, and
I remember that. Of course, I'll remember it. What? Yeah, was that in March? Did you say?
It was in April.
Oh, it was in April. Yeah, I think I remember hearing about that, and I think that was obviously off the back of Trump coming out of the impeachment trial about meddling with Russia. He goes and sort of, I know what I'll do. I'll just go and ban one of those bad parties. No, they're terrible. I'm a really nice guy. That white supremacy, no.
Both of your Trump impressions are on form. I need to get one. And he's not even going to be president anymore, so I'm going to have to fucking pick Joe Biden.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's fun. Yeah, you got to start sniffing, haven't you?
Children.
Hello, grandchild.
I was down the Wednesday shop on a bicycle, and a cat jumped in my face. That's my.
But funny though that he comes out of the impeachment, and then like the next month he's banning a right-wing group in Russia.
You're gonna have to do something about that.
You got to take one for the team, otherwise they're gonna know.
Monsters, they're a bunch of monsters.
I told you to make sure they didn't bug it in.
Animals. The Tour de France was delayed because of COVID-19.
I forgot. No. Oh, yeah, I do remember that because I remember when it started again, they actually had them all on virtual cycles or something. Or didn't they do like we're not going to do it for real, but if you want, you can jump on your Peloton and have a crack.
Yeah. Do you know what, Anna? Don't give a fuck because the Tour de France is boring as fuck.
Unless there's a crash.
All right. I don't.
And at best, it's still 30 miles an hour. Who cares?
Yeah.
I want to see him crash into a wall at 100.
I could probably ride my bike as fast as them for like 30 seconds. So
I could do that.
This isn't an Alan Partridge thing, is it? Well, I can ride my bike 120 miles in 30 minutes.
I've got a specialised racing bike that's pretty close to what they ride on Tour de France. I reckon if I took my ADHD medicine, I could put and add a couple of jars. I was a bit pissed.
Get the window.
Man, I could have gone to the fucking moon on your ADHD medicine, not doing the Tour de France.
And add a couple of and a bit of kebab. I could probably ride for about 30 seconds as fast as a Tour de France.
A bit of kebab. What kind of kebab? A bit of kebab.
Have you done some of those? Have you been getting on some of the pharmaceutical over-the-counter drugs or something, JJ? You're like,
oh no,
Ben's ADHD drugs.
I have in the past. Yeah.
Oh right, what? His ADHD tablets?
Yeah.
You had some?
Yeah.
What did they do to you?
I stayed awake for all the Download Festival.
I had I stayed awake.
So did I.
I met Ben on the Friday and I left on Sunday and I was still awake. Yeah, one thing which is really shocking, and I don't believe that they've gone back into lockdown since, but April 8th, China ends the lockdown. April 8th.
Jenny.
I bet that's the sort of guy that stays around for the first few rounds and then fucks off when it's his time to pay.
Yeah.
China are like, oh shit, yeah, we're us, we're open.
Well, saying that, I know it's a different place, but Japan, they gave a stimulus package of nearly $1 trillion. Is that right? 990 billion.
What?
Yeah, nearly.
What?
Is that a trillion is 1,000 billion, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's 20% of their country's GDP. Our country are still yet. They've just declared 34.1 billion that they're in debt because of COVID. I mean, I understand. Yes, Japan is a lot bigger, but that's 20% of their GDP. Ours is like, I think it's 2% or 3%.
That's crazy. They gave a stimulus check to their own citizens. Like that's incredible.
Yeah. And of that amount of money, that is a lot.
And it's
that's $1 trillion.
Are you funny you didn't hear about that on the news, eh?
No, because it would have made us look like cunts.
Yep.
And this is one of my friends did say that one of the main reasons why we're dealing so badly with it is because of the response the government has got for people who have to actually isolate. He said in Korea, I'm presuming it's South Korea,
right?
If you have to self-isolate, they ring you every day to see if there's anything you need.
That's amazing.
And his brother used to live in South Korea, so that's from the horse's mouth. He's got friends over there, and they were like, "Yeah, I tested for it." They rang me up every day for 14 days, asking me if I need shopping, drink, water, And it's a bit like a PD, like a per diem. They give you like 20 quid a day or 10 quid a day, and you're literally like, "Yeah, I've run out of water today," and that's why our fucking country balls it up, because they're like, we don't have the resources. We don't, but just don't go to the hospital if you're ill, whatever you do. And half of the people are wasting the resources because they want the fucking, they want to do that.
Yeah. That's fucking nuts. Wow.
So yeah, and I'm presuming it's South Korea.
Oh yeah, because
my mate, he's a translator, so he lived out there for years. But
cool.
But yeah, I thought that was a little, just to show how well Britain are doing.
Yeah.
But terrible. I've heard it's pretty bad in America, Dean. Like
it's terrible, mate.
They're not. They're not even giving you any nothing. Like it's like most of it, just go to work.
Yeah, like Trump is saying he wants to give people a $2,000 stimulus over the $600 that the Congress have said that they're going to give. But then the details of the rest of this COVID relief thing, are like giving tens of millions to like random countries.
It's too late now. The problem is we're a year into it. Like, what's $2,000 now?
I heard a stat.
Nothing. Yeah.
From Tim Dillon, brilliant comedian.
Oh yeah, brilliant comedian.
On the Ari Shafir Skeptic Tank podcast, he said that they worked out that if you gave everyone in the United States $2,000, if the top, I think it's the top 6 billionaires in America, if they added all their money together and they paid everyone in the United States $2,000 each,
right,
they would still have more money than before the pandemic started.
What?
That's how much money they've made from the pandemic. However they made it, like Jeff Bezos, obviously, Amazon,
right? Yeah, Walmart and shit, like
all that. But
wow,
all the people that invested and sold and bought stocks and shares as well throughout the whole thing.
Right? Yeah. Money. Kids that are living at home and getting stimulus checks, and then all they're doing is just throwing it on Bitcoin. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Did you guys see that thing that the Metro did? I'm sure I've talked about it before, but the Metro tried to spend Jeff Bezos' money on lockdown. It was incredible, Dean. It was literally like they tweeted like every 10 minutes for 2 days saying, "Wow, we bought all of China and 99 ice cream, and we've still got $16 billion left." And it was like, you know what? Jeff Bezos likes to fly. Let's buy him an entire fleet of F-1 fighter jets. And it was like, he's still got 9. They literally got down and they'd bought everything.
Yeah.
And they went, and we've still got enough money to buy Jamaica.
Yeah.
which was like, it was something like 36 billion they had left, didn't they?
I tell you, they bought the Premier League, didn't they?
They bought everything.
Yeah, they bought the Premier League. They bought all of the most expensive houses in London. They bought every kid a fucking Happy Meal in the world. It was fucking mental.
That's hilarious. What a friend.
There should be something. No one should be a billionaire. No one should be a billionaire.
No, it's.
It should be illegal to be a billionaire.
There has to be something.
There probably was. There probably was at some point, and then they bought. You've got to think that there's probably a loophole.
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos might have all that money, but it'll be asset. It's not. It's all well and good saying it, but and nobody. I don't even think they've already said, haven't they, that the physical money of that amount doesn't even exist. No. It's just a number on a screen that multiplies every day.
It's all brought every. I'd say guaranteed, 87% of his wealth, and he
will never touch.
No, is from credit cards.
Do you think?
How many people buy shit on credit on their Amazon account?
Oh, right.
All day long.
Yeah.
All his money that he takes in is from people's debt. People's credit cards. People.
Well, that's where money. That's where the money comes from in the world. That's what one of the ABCs of conspiracy theories is zeitgeist. Yeah. And that's the first chapter. Is that every $10 you have, you own $9.9 of it, and 1% of it is earned to the federal bank.
Yeah.
So he says even when you get a tenner, it's not worth a tenner.
Yeah.
But at our ground level, and this is the thing, we don't have any of. We're still at a level where we deal in coin currency, which means we are at the bottom level. When we talk about giving money to a homeless person.
Yeah,
we're giving it to them and they've got less of it, but they're still holding that physical coin, which we have given them, which means we're still at that bottom level on the grand scheme of things, which is fucking sickening. Not sickening, I don't have any desire to, but it's fucking mental to think about.
Yeah.
They don't even handle cash. They're like, a £50 note to them isn't even a thing. They're just like, nah, whatever. It's not a thing.
Yeah.
That's horrifying.
Someone said something, who's it? There's a really good quote about it. It's about how people with that much money, you don't just get that much money. Jeff Bezos is a rare billionaire. You are born into that money, and that money grows and grows and grows. It's very rare that someone accumulates that much wealth in their lifetime.
Yeah.
Normally
it's a value.
It's been handed down for years and years, or I can imagine the billionaire bankers and the billionaire oil sheiks and
tycoons and shit. Yeah.
Well, they didn't just go, oil, I found it. They were given that oil.
Yeah, well, it's industry heritage. Yeah. That's what they talk about on the last zeitgeist of I don't think the correct terminology is industry heritage, but it's something like that. But that's the thing. For want
of a better word. Yeah.
Jeff Bezos is the beginning. Maybe not the beginning. I've heard some stories about him, but he's the beginning of that. So his kids are gonna get Amazon if he has kids.
Yeah.
And then but the thing is with Amazon, now it operates itself because he's paying people, but it takes a mind like his to run something like that. It's the same as me and my mum were talking about the other day about the Beatles and stuff like that. They usually sell their rights prior to them dying because their children can't develop them rights. They don't get better. They essentially teeter off. Like Noddy Holder makes 500,000 a year off that one Christmas song. He gets a £500,000 royalty check every year just from that one song. But once that memory's gone, that's nothing. Jeff Bezos is probably just plowing his money into everything, and eventually shit'll stick.
Yeah.
And he might be able to leave a couple of billion for his daughter.
Couple of billion.
She can start her fucking, you know.
It just shows the way it's going. Is that the guy that owns Amazon has all the money. So
just buying stuff off her dad's website to shove up herself.
Do you think? Cheers, Dad. I know that, like, obviously he owns
fire
it,
into the oven.
But does he just, like, on his Amazon app on his phone? Does he just press it and then doesn't know money?
He just gets stuff.
It just comes.
Do you think there's anything he could buy on Amazon? Just like I'm there like trying to look for fucking vegan protein, and I'm like, ooh, that one's got £2 off. Do you think he's just like, look at this island, look at this island.
Oh, look at this!
I can play on Klarna.
Children.
I just can't imagine being that wealthy where nothing matters. Like buying, no thought goes into buying stuff. Like, I'm frivolous now. Imagine if I had 16 billion. You'd be fucked, pair of you.
Yeah.
What's happened? I just bought the land, or not the land, like the country, and just lifting you out of the ground. And
Sorry,
what's this happening?
So Essex, how you said that? The pair of you, like you're fucked, pair of you.
Just pulled up, and like, why am I being lifted to the ground? He bought the land under the land you own.
Why would you do such a thing?
Which is another thing we should have a conspiracy podcast about, is the land ownership, because that is it's a boring one, but we can seam it into somewhere because it's a fucking weird one, a very, very weird one in England.
I was going to say, it doesn't sound boring from what I've been seeing. It's Vicky and oh damn it, I forgot her name. I do apologise. In the Discord, the two of them.
Too bad. JW.
Yeah, the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Kate, I think it is.
Kit.
Yeah, like,
is it Kit or Kate?
Kit, yeah.
Kate.
Kate is Kate MG
and
or
Vicky,
something like that.
Yeah, and Vicky as well. The both of them have been like some of the stuff that they've been leaving in that in the Discord section about like having their own like towns underneath like city streets.
Yeah.
They use their own gold bullion. Like what the fuck? Like creating their own city. How have we not? That's boring. No way.
Well, no, it's more the actual like. It's what we would talk about, because there's no like hard subject, but there's. I mean, I'm not going to go into it now because then it spoils a future podcast.
Right,
but
right.
when you know, in England, when you have a house, you buy the house and you've got the land, but the land can still be owned by somebody else.
Yeah, you get freehold or leasehold. Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
I understand.
And that usually goes down to like barons, which is where the Magna Carta came in, which is what everyone's fucking harping on about now. Like segueing back to the COVID thing, like it comes down to baron fucking laws, and I'm just
the Magna Carta is the UK version of the Declaration of Independence, or like the
it's like the new law, the law of the land,
the Constitution. Yeah, it's our Constitution. Oh wow.
Yeah, but I mean it's ridiculous, because I mean you're not ever going to buy a house in someone, especially now. No one's going to come up to you and be like, it turns out my great fan, because they're not going to come and fucking see it, because they're going to be a Jeff Bezos. You know, they're going to be like, my client says that he owns all this land, so you have to knock your house down and sell him the land, or you can just give him your house, or we can buy it off you for half the price or a quarter of the price or whatever. Happens all the time in England.
Yeah. This is my flower.
Yeah,
there's
yeah. So you're not allowed to, like, I don't know if you like know this, but you're not technically allowed to bury anything on your land. Technically.
Oh no, yes, I was aware of. Yeah,
because you don't know whether, because they still check land shift. I'm not like an expert on this, but they still check land shift. And if your next door neighbor was a cunt and they were just like, technically the land underneath your house is partly mine, they can get it tested and be like, yeah, archaeologically that all that land under there is theirs, so they bought it when it was that, so they own that bit of your house, and then they barter with you. That's
tectonics move.
Yeah, and that's because nothing was in place back then to say, well, you know, because I'm guessing civilization back then didn't think we would probably be here in
Yeah.
Fucking God knows how many years. But anyway, going back onto we're like
what's next?
2 hours in, and
what was the next
in April?
What was the next shit thing that happened?
COVID.
The next shit thing. COVID. Loads of civil wars across the globe.
Just a quick one.
Wasn't there a terrorist attack?
Well, there has been one recently that they believe is.
Oh yeah, that's this week because that's really interesting.
And Notre Dame, but I don't believe. Just going back onto the monetary thing, I've just seen that the IMF have said that the world economy is to shrink 3%, which is the worst contraction since the Great Depression. And it's called the Great Depression because I'm presuming it was shit.
So,
and it's gone down 3%. Boo-hoo!
Ding ding. But before we move on to May, quite possibly the best news that came out of 2020, at least so far, was April the I just kicked my camera there that we're recording. So April the 27th was when the Pentagon formally released 3 videos, the 3 UFO videos. It was that long ago.
Yeah.
You know, like leaked by Luis Elizondo, obviously, while he was in ATIP at the time. That these 3 Tic Tac-like UFOs that were encountered by US Navy pilots. One of them, damn it, I forgot, Commander Fravor, even.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Yeah, phenomenal episode on Joe Rogan. And that whole disclosure from himself was, I thought, was a huge turning point in the UFO community, or the UAP community, whichever title that they're preferring, doing their UFO pronouns.
Ufologists.
Like,
yeah.
But yeah, phenomenal. Like the best thing yet to come out as genuine with regards to the possibility of either extraterrestrial craft or advanced technology that exists on this planet is being hidden, or at least used by something else other than us. Incredible stuff.
Also, while we're talking about UFOs and stuff, Facebook actually removed pseudoscience and conspiracy theory as well from their targeted ads as criticism mounts against social media is its role of spreading misinformation along with YouTube.
Didn't stop CB. They only removed the things that could possibly be the truth. They didn't remove any of the official news places.
Along with Instagram, they did. We didn't start the podcast till later, but they did start giving you a warning under anything that had anything related to coronavirus. Yeah, we've everything now. We've had the warning. We've
had the warning on one of our.
We told you. You didn't listen.
Oh, great, sweet. That's just getting our own play button, isn't it? How many COVID buttons have you got?
We got the conspiracy thing for 7/7 bombings. We've got a link on there. So,
hell yeah.
You should look into the official story. Well, we did look into the official story.
We did.
And it's bullshit.
And I'm sure we're probably gonna catch up with Tom DeLonge and his cronies in the new year, I think, because I think we did obviously do Bob Lazar, but we haven't really broad spectrumed.
We should do Tom DeLonge.
To the Stars Academy and Tom DeLonge, I think.
Yeah, there's a few ups and downs with that, isn't there? Like,
yeah. I said to you guys before, I've got investments in that company and it's going really well. So they must be doing something right.
Right.
So that's it. Well, there will be a Tom DeLonge episode because I guess there's quite an interesting story.
Which, as Dean mentioned, Luis Elizondo is one of the guys with Tom DeLonge.
Yeah, well.
And I had a dream the other night that he died, which was really weird.
That is a bizarre
because I haven't thought about him in fucking ages, but obviously I was just like, whoa, something's gone on there. You can't have possibly died from natural causes.
We're into April, and it's the first bit of, I guess, positive news where humanity could probably be like, before COVID takes us, at least we know there are aliens after all.
Yeah, and it did basically unleash everything coming out, and obviously I think when did the phenomenon come out? Because that
only came out. That's a phenomenal documentary. Pun.
Make sure you watch the phenomenon.
It's a lot about everything that we're probably going to talk about.
It's a great documentary.
Well put together.
A person that is intrigued with UFOs and wants to be brought up to speed with everything UFO based and where, like, I guess human existence is with it, with understanding the whole UFO phenomena. Like, it's at a point now where I think it should be in the psyche of absolutely everybody.
It doesn't take any giant leaps to like conclusions. It's very kind of like matter of fact. This is the facts.
Yeah,
this is what we've heard.
Yeah, it's factual because the US Navy have actually released videos and have gone, we've got no fucking idea what these things are. And like, it's that important. It's so important. So if you're feeling a little bit slow or a little bit kind of not up to speed with everything with the UFO timeline up to now, watch the YouTube. Well, no, it wasn't YouTube.
So
it's YouTube Amazon. Exclusive. I think it was. It's on Amazon as well.
Yeah.
The Phenomena. It's a phenomenal documentary that goes from beginning to where we are today. It's beautifully put together, beautifully narrated. It's fantastic watching, and it's not anything like Stephen Greer shit, or anything that kind of perpetuates these strange, incredible things. It only doesn't give you evidence.
It only touches slightly on encounters with alien beings. I think it picks the ones that are the most widely reported, the ones with some kind of evidence. So it's only like 3 or 4, I think 5 maybe.
Yeah.
But there's some in it where they go to like South Africa and they talk to that school and the whole school
so weird.
Saw a fucking alien.
Like, we need to do an episode on that because that is
and
incredible.
And the headmaster goes, at the time I was told, like, no, I can't say it. Like, people visited, they shut the school down, the army was here, and they said, whatever you do, do not say that
you didn't see anything. What you think that what the kids thought, what the kids saw.
Or the teachers. You go against the teachers, you go against the kids, you just say it's a prank. And then she comes out, it was real. Like,
and in that you watch the kid's testimony from like after it happened, when that journalist he was a psychologist, wasn't he? He was like one of the world's leading psychologists, visited the school and spoke to every single child, and even he was just like, they are not lying. Like these children are telling the truth. And you can tell when a kid's hamming up a story, but every single one of them just look like they're being interrogated, and they say just enough to like be able to correlate each of the stories together. Like everything is exactly the same. And it's like, over how many kids they thought? It was only like 200 kids or something. Wasn't it stupid?
So many. And teachers as well.
Incredible story. And it's part of the documentary, The Phenomenon. Amazing. Go and watch it.
Just before we get into May, don't know if I'm 100% right on this, but NASA selects SpaceX to build their space shuttles for a thing.
Lunar landing.
That's the first time they've ever hired private companies that haven't been associated with America.
And that's great. Like when it comes to like, why has it been so long since someone has been like, I tell you what, let's give someone else a go at
brown
this.
envelope.
I think it's because they fucking
Black
know
Ops,
that,
Black Ops,
if anything comes out and they go, oh, we've seen some other UFOs, they can just be like, oh, it's probably SpaceX, nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
Just like, oh yeah, SpaceX have been developing this thing, nothing to do with the US government.
Yeah,
put the heat over there.
NASA live feed. Oh, that's Elon.
And Elon Musk is probably just like, I did it, rockets.
Really
did. And the fact that it's all out there now, they don't have to hide anything, so they can start going, oh, could you do this? Because we don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
We're just hiding them aliens. We don't want anyone to see them, but now it's out. You could do it if you want. We don't really care.
Everyone thinks you're an alien anyway.
Yeah. And I think that's April.
Again, a lot of COVID shit. So, mostly COVID shit.
Yeah.
But go on.
May it changes a bit. May the world gets another blow and another crisis. George Floyd is strangled. He's suffocated to death by 4 police officers.
Pretty much assassinated.
Yeah, he was assassinated for allegedly only
trying to use a wonky $20 note, wasn't he?
Yeah, and it wasn't even. He wasn't even. He didn't even do it.
No. And then what's funny about the two of them, the guy that was kneeling on George Floyd, I don't even want to say the fucking guy's name. That
cunt. Yeah.
Yeah, that cunt kneeling on fucking George Floyd's neck. The two of them used to work together, and they were like doormen or something like that. And they had history. So there was so much more to that than just a police call. The policeman had it in for him, like from, I don't know, years back or whatnot. So that was just plain straight and utter murder. That weren't serving the public trust. That was murder. And that was an opportunity that he took. He was, fuck it, I'm going to get one up on you because you're in trouble. No, you're not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was an attack, and it was obviously the last straw when it came to that kind of thing.
Mate, over here, that was unreal. Yeah. Absolutely unreal when that happened. Just the response publicly, immediately, social media booming, then everybody out on the streets tearing shit up. Like,
because it was a different visual than normal. Normally it's like, it's the aftermath that you see.
Do you know what it kind of made me? It made me think of RoboCop and like Starship Troopers. I'm trying to think of the director that of
Paul Verhoeven.
Yeah, that kind of, he was well ahead of his time when it comes to those movies, and it was like it was glorifying violence and putting the negativity of a country like plain straight in front of them.
It's
but
like
them still not.
And murder today as we cut to like that kind of like.
Yeah, and it's just like all completely shown on the news. It's almost like the media is sitting again, look how terrible you all are. Like, and you have no idea. Here's more of it. I just thought, I was like, fucking, this is turning into RoboCop, and like that whole violence on the streets. A man was murdered today by a policeman's knee. Do you want to know more? Like, all of that, and
here's so and so with a close report, and they're like, it's
like they're right next to him. You can see his neck on
his knees,
on his neck.
It's hyper normalization is what it is. Have you seen?
And it was then, like, I've been in the United States now for about 3 years, and the amount of the censorship in the country is it's bonkers what you can and can't do. Like, you can't say the F-bombs, you can't show this, you can't show that, you can't show all frontal nudity. You can't say the word fuck or shit at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, right? But you can show any horror movie with someone having their head torn off on a TV channel. Like, I physically watched Day of the Dead. Do you know the scene where the military commander gets pulled in half?
Yeah.
Like that, uncensored, midday. Starship Troopers. Right. Well, Starship Troopers in itself, that is a gore fest. And it's like totally uncensored and like glorifying, like the media glorifying the horror of it all to normalize it and desensitize a population with it. And for the years that I've been here so far, I was just like, on the news at like 4 or 5 o'clock after work, here's CCTV footage of a gas station being shot up, like just down the road from me. And you see like it's about a shopkeeper pulling a gun out because someone tried to rob him and then he's firing at this person. And I was just like, this is literally a RoboCop or Starship Troopers movie. Yeah. It's from this point, like from that one scene, like watching all these CCTV things on the news, I'm sitting here laughing at it in my head and I'm like this just looks like utterly silly. But then that George Floyd thing was just too real, too close to home. And it was just made me sit back and just be like, this country is exactly how that was portrayed in the movies. Yeah. And it's real. And I'm like, I'm watching it now. Like RoboCop, Starship Trooper humor is happening. They call it humor, but it's not. But in the movies, it's portrayed as something of entertainment. It was horrifying. It was absurd how real it felt and how close to home. It was crazy, and it's still going on. Like it's still...
it unfolded like for months afterwards, and then again, going back onto the hypernormalization documentary, it kind of went away. Like
it's just a thing that's happening. It's like. And it's like INSOC and like 1984 and all that. It's a continual thing now that's happening. Like we've got the continual wars, we've got the continual virus that's killing us, we've got the continual riots against it for equality. It's a constant stream of these things happening around us.
Normalizing lockdown. Like this is the new normal.
It is the new normal.
Excuse me. Like,
sneaking around to go to have Christmas dinner. Like, that happened. We snuck into someone's house to have Christmas dinner. It's fucking mental because Christmas was cancelled by the government.
Is this V for Vendetta? Is this V for Vendetta?
It's the new normal. We will be in tears now for years.
Wait a minute. Isn't V for Vendetta about a tyrannical government inventing a disease that's not real, and they're telling them vote for us and we'll protect you?
Yeah.
Is that fucking real?
Pretty much.
Because that just popped in my head. I was like, oh shit, what?
We will be in a lockdown in the UK of different levels forever now. Oh,
it's going to happen.
It's tier 2 tomorrow, quick! Tier,
quick, and then shut the doors up.
To the point where you get a text on your phone going, go home now or you will be arrested.
I don't like
this.
I don't like this.
It will get that bad. There's no way. Do you see... JJ's not here, so he obviously is not. You're not in the UK, but there's no end in sight for it.
There isn't.
There's no exit strategy. There's tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. But like, all right, eventually those tier systems gonna no. There's a tier 4 now, and now it's gonna be tier 5.
And as well, has anybody ever thought about how suddenly the world is just going to go and scene? You can all like take your masks off. You can all mix around. You can all go around your mate's house. Oh, what's that? You want to go down the pub? Watch foot? You can do that now. Has anybody given a thought? Either I hate that I'm feeling like this, but how fucking awkward that's going to feel because we've been doing it.
It's going to feel so good.
It's going
to the pub and hugging.
My point is just imagine for a moment. How do you think like life is just going to go back like that? Like, is it going to just one day they're going to go, we're done now?
They're not. I can't see it happening. I can't.
No, that's my point.
And
I can't see it happening.
I'm sorry to depress you all on this New Year's Eve episode of Not Another Conspiracy Podcast, but it ain't going to get any better for a long time. It's going to be tier 1.
When you
Congratulations, Seven, on see you're tier 1 this week. You can go outside.
Oh, now you're making it sound like the Running Man. Like
it's the Running Man. It's Platform. It's Black Mirror. It's everything, and it's all coming true.
Oh, this is this.
It is.
And we're only in June.
We're only in June, people. We're not even in June. We're still in May.
We were talking before you got here, Dean, about how we were gonna time this so that like people can watch it and then celebrate New Year at 12 o'clock. I'm just thinking at the rate we're going, we're gonna have to start it on the 30th.
Yeah,
we're like 2 hours.
17 hours later on Not Another Conspiracy, guys, and
we might speed things up. Then.
Right, Boris Johnson will change immigration laws to offer a
between
pathway,
Hong Kong.
A pathway for UK citizens in Hong Kong. Because all the while through this whole year, Hong Kong is fucked as well.
Yeah, Muslim genocide and
It's genocide in Hong Kong is happening throughout all of this. This is just again hyper normalization that's happening to people, which was.
Look, they're putting them in cages and they've got towels on their heads.
But how long ago was Hong Kong part of the UK? Like 15 years ago, max?
Yeah.
And there's a genocide happening there now.
Yeah, we have a democracy. Help us.
A race genocide as well.
Yeah.
It's a religious and a race genocide.
Exactly. And it's now part of the news. It's happening. But we didn't even mention it.
To lighten things up a little bit, I'm coming in with my one here. Okay. Starlink launches, which for everybody was a really exciting moment because everybody thought there was UFOs, perfectly in sync UFOs, which I thought was fantastic because I was like, SpaceX is Starlink.
Oh, yeah.
Basically meshing the Earth in internet and free internet.
Right.
And I think it says 482 satellites were launched, which, in total are going to be launched, and 60 were launched in June.
A great step for like humanity when it comes to actually having internet. Almost.
Yeah.
I feel like
so we've got we've got all this. We can all go on the internet. Well, yeah. Well, to be fair, Jeff Bezos is rubbing his fucking hands together because he's just like, well, you know, the more internet, the more people can buy on Amazon or Wish.com.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, because he's Elon Musk. Good on him. Is giving free internet to like third world countries, which will be nice. While the rest of us are just frying our brains on 5G. So
buying dickheads off Wish.
Yeah. Very small rubber pussies. Very questionably small.
There was a state of emergency in Russia in June as well.
Okay.
After 20 again, didn't know this happened. 20,000 tons of oil leaked into a river in Siberia.
How much? Sorry, repeat that.
20,000 tons, and there was a state of emergency in Russia because of it. I didn't even know that fucking happened.
Oh my God.
It's the same thing that happened with, I'm going to get the name wrong, but when the nuclear reactor exploded in Japan, and they were saying this is going to be a cataclysmic event and nobody cares about it.
Exactly.
Did you see the live map of it? And it was just getting worse.
And then the tsunamis that came after that as well.
And everyone's just like,
look at all this radiation in the water that's kind of making its way across the Pacific. Oh, don't worry about it.
So we've got bigger problems.
That 20,000 ton oil leak in the Siberian River, which was part of the Arctic Circle, the World Wildlife Fund said the accident believed to be the second largest in history.
What date was this? Sorry,
June the 3rd.
I can't fucking believe that. 20,000 tons. It's not even registered on my radar until today, to that second.
I think one of the issues with that as well, though, is that it's not the fact that it's the oil; it's the fact that it's crude oil that's leaked. It's not the natural oil; it's the processed fucking shit that, like, you know, it was probably one ton of oil and 19,000 tons of shit.
It sinks into the earth. The earth's like, what do I do with this?
Yeah. Where's my 1 ton of oil you stole?
It just sits on the top. Just sits on the top, killing all the fucking animals. It doesn't even sink.
Who needs them? They don't buy on Amazon. Stupid marsupial cunts.
Desensitization. No one knows about it. Who cares? COVID and whatever else is on your television right now.
And again, just lots of stuff about COVID. Death tolls, scaremongering bullshit.
Along with a lot of civil wars as well happening.
Yeah. So, if am I right in thinking
this? A massive earthquake in Mexico.
When was this?
In June.
Still in June. 7.5 magnitude earthquake. Mexico, and kills at least 4 people. Well, that's good. No, it's not.
Oh, sorry.
It's nice that only a few, I wish no one died. I'm digging my grave here, isn't I, really? but like, at least like an earthquake and only a few people have like perished, unfortunately. But okay, that's kind of like, at least there isn't more dead, I guess.
Wow, that is insane, right? June the 8th, the number of COVID cases passes 7 million worldwide. June the 16th, a week later, it passes 8 million worldwide.
And 9 million a couple of weeks later.
Fuck.
Wow.
We totally skipped over one of the most important ones, that in April, Kim Jong-un was believed to have died.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that whole thing.
It was just going round and round on his Hyperloop train. Then they were like, he must have. We haven't seen him come off that train, so he must be dead.
Yeah.
I was like, you've got to remember, his train is probably bigger than the estate around the corner from your house. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like just a fucking. It's not like a GNER to London. It's a palace on wheels, man.
He was only missing for like a month. But obviously, you don't see a leader for a month. You start thinking of it. Also, he's very secretive, so he's probably just on holiday.
Yeah, on a massive train.
In a country that he probably shouldn't be caught in, like probably America.
But like, what happened as well? Like, when or at least the news over here were just like, oh my God, his sister is now lined up to be the next commander. She's worse. It's like, I remember hearing all that. I I remember like hearing people talking about this like over here in America. And I'm not saying North Korea. I'm not saying North Korea isn't what North Korea clearly is, but like we know an awful lot about a country that allegedly nobody knows about. Like you hear some of this, they're like, oh, they did this, oh, they did that, and it's like, well, how the fuck do you know if it's like nobody goes in, nobody comes out, sort of thing.
There's a great documentary on Netflix. It might not be there anymore. I think it's called The Propaganda Regime or something. Yeah. Something to do with propaganda, talking about how again what I was saying before about countries biased. Like people just like, I wonder what's in there. I wonder what's in there. So they just make loads of shit up about it and just hope that, you know, they're probably because they're really strict on censorship of things coming inwards, but I could understand why. Like, imagine somebody like us, Korean versions of us doing this podcast, and they're literally just one event every month, and that's it. And they're like, Kim Jong-il is dead. Oh no, what are we gonna do? Because we can't watch it on TV because they've taken them all. We only have one channel.
Staying with North Korea, they demolished their inter-Korea liaison office.
Oh, what is that? Isn't that the room where South and North Korea meet?
Yeah, they destroyed it. They only built it in 2018. It just blew it up.
Just blew it up.
Now
the land massing though. Because I don't want to be South Korea own this bit or North Korea own that bit. Like.
We can get our own Netflix now. We don't need to hijack from them. Get rid of them.
Just like moving forward a little bit because we're gonna have to. I think we are gonna have to skim through a lot of this.
We've not even got to the US election yet.
Where are we now? July, I think.
July,
If it was if we'd have planned this a little bit better, we could have done the New Year's Eve podcast over 2 episodes. But we literally don't have time. So yeah, Kim Jong-il, risen from the dead, he now declares a state of emergency and orders a lockdown.
Zombies
from the dead.
That's right.
From the dead. He's like fucking what's his chops from Big Trouble in Little China.
I
expecting you, Mr. Burton.
I'll think of his name.
Liu Kang.
No, that's the bad guy from Mortal Kombat.
It is.
Oh no, that's Shia Khan. Kung Lao, yeah.
Kung Lao. Close.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So, is there anything anyone wants to touch on specifically in July? I'm gonna have to be the mediator here. Everybody in our group's just gonna be like, "Oh my god, it was so good! Like the first 3 hours were amazing." But why did you only do the last 6 months in 15 minutes? Well, because Dean had to go to work the next day. He's got to be up in 1 hour. And Ben and JJ would like to get some lunch. Fucking hell.
One thing,
Ben, sorry.
The Twitter hack. Someone hacked Elon Musk's Twitter and said, if you send me $1,000 in Bitcoin, I will double it. But it wasn't him.
I remember.
Elon Musk was like, I own Bitcoin, so whatever. I'll just take it off your account.
The one that I wanted to touch on briefly, I mean, it happened, I think, Benny, have you seen the North Korea one? Oh, no, you've read that one, haven't you?
Yeah.
Declared a state of emergency. Something very cool was July 30th, NASA successfully launches its Mars 2020 rover mission to search for signs of ancient life and collect samples to return to Earth. The mission includes technology demonstrations to prepare for future human missions. That's pretty fucking cool.
Probably coincidental that's when Elon Musk's baby was probably born, and the thing that they found was probably that thing in just a little metal shell. And that's probably why he got that fucking weird name.
Yeah, because that's
it was carved into the side of the shell. It's just like a time capsule for a baby.
But it's pretty cool that we're sending off shit to kind of alpha test the colonization of Mars. So that's something that's
I agree.
Cool.
I feel like they're rushing it, like they rushed the vaccine. They're rushing it.
But the fatality rate is probably going to be higher if we carry on going at the speed we're going at.
It's true.
Yeah.
Three men die from malnutrition because they spent 4 hours talking about 3 months of a very small amount of their lives.
They spent longer talking about it than they did living it.
So
yeah, I liked that one, Dean.
August.
That was a nice way to end July.
Yeah. So we're in August now.
The massive explosion in fucking Beirut. Beirut. Oh god, that was big, wasn't it? Was it impressive? Guess what? A state of emergency was.
I like how you're leaning. That's a bit of a big bang, that, wasn't it? We're gonna have to get that used next Guy Fawkes night.
First another state of emergency though. This has got to be the most state of emergencies in a year for a long time.
The first thing I thought about was like, you know, when you're around places, you go on holiday places, and someone always goes, "Fucking hell, it's like Beirut round here." I always just presumed that it was a shithole anyway, but then I was like, "Oh, it actually looks quite nice." Oh no, it's just been blown up. So the guy at the tourist board in Beirut was just like, "We're losing our reputation here, boys. Let's just blow up the firework factory." We're laughing again, but loads of people died, so you know, swings and roundabouts.
It just made you've got a point though, because Ben will agree with me here as well. I remember as a kid watching the Bottom episode where they bring the police round and he sits there and it comments and he's like, "Do you buy this conservatory from Beirut?" "Oh, I've been sleep glazing again, Eddie." And I was just like, "Oh, I guess Beirut's a bit of a shithole." It was almost like it was the longest gag ever made. And then
I think it's just been war torn for so long.
Yeah. Oh, that's why it's a shithole.
I mean, no wonder it's been fucking war torn. Like every factory they own's fucking full of bullets and fireworks. Like,
so it was allegedly ammonium nitrate. I don't know how much ammonia damage estimated $10 to $15 billion. Like,
you know what's really surprising there though? How the fatalities were 220.
Only if that's
really strange. Yeah.
Right.
You know, like when people talk about 9/11 and how like, oh my God, mass catastrophe. Yeah. Yes, I understand a lot of people died. But when you saw it, you were like, fuck, that's going to be like 50,000 people dead. Right. Like that Beirut explosion, it created a rip in the time hole. It was just like...
300,000 people were left homeless. So, their homes are gone, but they survived. So, even no one lives where they work.
Commuters.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Plus, all the other fatalities of the people who they haven't mentioned were probably homeless anyway. So, there's probably more like 2,200 people died, but 2,000 of them were homeless.
And that was another one on the state of emergency bingo card. Yeah. The following day, the Lebanese government declared a 2-week one.
Exactly. They did. And then there was a crash of a plane crash in India.
Oh yes, right. I do remember that. Yeah, killing 19 of the 191 on board. I remember hearing about that.
Again, I've not seen any headlines from the UFC here. There was some cracking UFC fights over like. That's the only thing that I fucking watched on TV, to be fair.
We've touched on him earlier as well. August 26th, Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos becomes the first person in history to have a net worth exceeding $200 billion, according to Forbes. We've obviously already commented on that.
It's just too much money.
It's way too much. It doesn't. We're scraping. I know people are listening and be like, why didn't they just fucking bullet point this shit? Again, this is off the cuff. I've come straight from
because we've all been busy. We've all been working. It's been Christmas.
It's Christmas.
I spewed all over my bedroom and it took me like 3 minutes to clean it up.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
So, so a little back on the COVID bingo card, COVID-19 pandemic. The number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 passes 25 million worldwide.
Confirmed cases, though. It's like, and a confirmed case doesn't always mean a positive test.
Right, exactly.
Just
wonky
saying,
numbers.
Just saying the numbers. Those numbers don't add up.
There is no synergy.
But I do believe it's a thing, but I just don't think it's bad as everyone says it is.
Just before we get too far, I know we're trying to get through this. Have we missed any major ones that I feel that our actual listeners will care about? not just the facts.
Well,
like when did Prince Andrew give his really amazing interview?
Well, July, Ghislaine was arrested in July.
Oh, this is it.
Okay,
exactly.
Right.
Yeah, this is a big one.
And this is also when we started the podcast.
That bookmark, JJ. Dang.
But I also would suggest that obviously we've done podcasts on this, which are 3 hours long. So if you are interested in these things, go back and watch them, because we are doing a very, very long skim down a very very long river here, and we've only got a few rocks left, if you know what I mean.
So I'm just going to quickly bring up our channel anyway, because it's the, I guess it was the month where we started. So our first upload was, is Paul McCartney alive or was he replaced? JJ's initial episode coming into it, that was 5 months ago.
And to be fair, I was still more drunk then than I have ever been in my life, I think, because I can't remember. Well, apart from every other podcast afterwards.
You structured yourself beautifully though, sir. That. And then after that, we did the London 7/7 bombings. I think that was because it was quite a special one, because of the fact that me and Ben were relatively involved, although we weren't. We were
there.
We were there within London itself, and that was a bizarre experience to deal with. Like everybody trying to get out of the city.
It's basically it was one morning of how the whole of 2020s felt.
Right, yeah.
It's just like that constant, like, what the fuck's going on? What do I do? What can I do? That was the feeling.
And it was correct in what Ben was saying as well, that Ghislaine Maxwell then ended up being arrested in July, as that's our third episode that we hit on. Do we want to stop there and start talking about that, boys? Because that's still a meaty episode.
What is even going on with that?
Well, the court case has been held off until next year, isn't it?
July.
And how is she?
July 13th.
And she still hasn't been able to kill herself.
Well, yeah, we call it Clinton, but at the same time, yeah.
I think she has more power. That's why she's still alive. Epstein was the pawn, and because obviously her dad had connections. I think he was almost the face of the operation that she was masterminding, or she was
making sure
operating for. Because she if she was the underling, she wouldn't have even been arrested. She would have been pop.
She's getting
that's hanging herself
for her daddy. You know, like putting all these celebrities together to be so powerful where they can just got dirt on you.
I mean,
to the point where they can have Bill Clinton on a painting in the front door. Do you know what I mean?
All we're waiting on now, though, isn't it, with Ghislaine Maxwell? We're just waiting on something to distract us from what's actually happening in the news, because it feels like it has become a bit more of a charade, that thing, than anything else. So I would say we hold our breath until the July 13th and see what happens with that, because, you know, there's obviously another thing we didn't speak about, speaking about child people, is the Wayfair scandal.
Oh,
which I can't even remember when that was.
Get a kid.
Wayfair was
again,
I think Wayfair was August.
Go back, because this will be on the same channel. Go back and refer to the things we're talking about, because we spent 3 hours each on one of these rather than, 3 hours or talking about the things in between. That we didn't know about because we don't know one tells us.
Because we were too busy looking at this.
To breeze over what we have achieved on the channel when we started in July. So obviously we started with a Paul McCartney episode, London 7/7 bombings, Ghislaine Maxwell episode, a fairly deep dive on Bob Lazar, nearly a 3-hour episode there. Are we living in a simulator? The UFO topic about the Tic Tac UFOs that were disclosed. This one, I think, was a bit of a fudge around one. I think it was a combination of podcasts, conspiracies we've done, because it's titled "Did Macaulay Culkin Time Travel with Trump?" So
it was a catch up one.
It was, yes.
It was kind of like this, but with way less structure.
That's it. One night in Paris. One night in Paris. The Murder of Diana. Another favorite episode of mine.
Yeah.
Is the Helia documentary real? That was a very fun one.
That
was
that was a long month as well.
Yeah.
Going into people who this might be the first one they've listened to. Go and watch the Helia one. Go watch the Helia documentary after you finish Tiger King, because that's what I did. Everyone watched Tiger King, and then I was like, I want something fucking weirder. And Ben was like, well, I know. Let's watch this.
Yeah.
And when your mind is that dulled by just sitting around doing nothing, waiting to be told you can go back to work, Helia is real. Helia really happened.
Yeah, everyone's like, I reckon they did see goblins.
That is exactly what's happening, because I want that to be happening to me, because I haven't done fuck all for months. Hence, why we have.
And then after the Helia documentary, we done the Ed and Lorraine Warren, as well as the Werewolf Seized in Southend, which fucking blew my mind. That did.
Which I knew nothing about until you guys told me, which was fucking brilliant.
Yeah, and then after that, we did the double episode, nearly 6 hours worth of Jack the Ripper conspiracy theories, and then our most recent one, the Kurt Cobain episode, which I'm glad to say that I've got like I know there's only a few episodes there, but at least 4 or 5 that I really, really think we did a damn good job of. So like it's been.
I mean, I think we did. Yeah, there's a few there that I can't even remember.
I think we. I think they got better as well.
Okay, absolutely, so that brings. When did we do? I mean, these are recent, so we've skipped a few. I'm just gonna have a quick look through August. We've gone past August. We're through August.
Yeah. September. There's a lot.
Just a lot of murders. A lot of murders. Just a little tidbitty from September. The Royal Astronomical Society found phosphane in Venus atmosphere, which is known to be a strong predictor of the presence of microbacterial life.
That's incredible.
Which is interesting, considering we are a conspiracy podcast. These are the things that definitely get me off.
You kind of fell into that word. A better one.
So all this stuff, for me, has been fantastic.
Conspiracy bone going.
I mean, I'm reading all of these ones that we've just read out, and I'm just looking at them, and I was like, there's probably a conspiracy behind all of them.
Yeah,
probably.
There's somebody in those small countries who don't care about our fucking wayfaring kids in cabinets thing, going they got serious stuff, really serious things, not kids.
My prime minister's been overrun by a coup, but they've replaced her with a lookalike, and it's not really her.
Yeah, like that.
That could be happening right now.
But that's pretty fucking dope, though. Microbiological bacteria, did you say?
Microbial.
Really, 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 really small little creatures that are the beginning of evolution.
Yeah.
I can't see without my glasses.
Where's my Braille? Oh no, is it Braille? Braille's the shit that grows on your tongue when you've drank too much.
Okay, so
yeah.
Whereabouts are we, boys?
Right, so there was a massive BuzzFeed News and the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists released the FinCEN files, a collection of 2,657 documents related to financial crimes, describing over 200,000 suspicious transactions. 2 trillion that occurred. But there was a massive load of shit went on with money.
Zero. For anybody who's listening,
the weed edibles have kicked in far too much. I can't even see.
So for anyone who's listening, we're just getting to October, and Ben is fucked.
He's pretty high. But yeah, apparently
which is good.
There was a very big amount of money being transferred between global financial institutions. No, I know. I was wondering why you was going down that rabbit hole.
I don't know why I read it
out. Right. Well, I'm gonna find something that we can. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm in October now. I can't remember anything.
Yeah, I'm skimming over October as well.
So this was about the time that we were also announced that in England we would be going into another lockdown for a month.
Yeah. And NASA in October the 26th. This is pretty cool as well. NASA confirmed the existence of molecular water on the sunlit side of the moon near Clavius crater at concentrations of up to 412 parts per million. Now that is incredible because water is the building block of life, as quoted from Jurassic Park, I think it was, or DNA or something like that. But then that kind of taps into the whole conspiracy side of were things existent on the moon, because sometimes allegedly Buzz Aldrin has been caught saying, oh, there were crafts outside, or we felt we were being watched, or we thought we were being watched. So what do you guys think? Do you
I heard a really good one about that, and it was fucking I found it hilarious. Obviously not true. Somebody said, well, it was obviously the condensation from the astronauts' breaths. I was just like, you are aware they didn't take their helmets off, right? Because they would die. And I was just like, I don't know if
I just wiped it a bit and it dropped.
I don't know if he was fucked. And he was like, yeah, but you know when they're like jumping around, you can see steam coming out of these little pipes. And I'm just no. I'm also quite aware that they're not just like breathing apparatus. It's not like gills.
What does this person do for a living, and do they have children?
I'm in a band with one of them. I'm not going to name names. So he doesn't make money out of music, put it that way. Yeah, and I just thought, oh my god, this is why the world is full of idiots. Are you all right, Ben?
Yeah, I think Ben's processing the idiocy. That's fucking incredible.
Ben's just thinking about it now. He's just like, it could be condensation from Neil Armstrong's breath.
I would think that there would be more of a possibility. There'd be more of a possibility of Iron Sky being a real thing rather than condensation on a fucking astronaut's face.
Was that the Nazi base?
Nazi space base, yeah, on the moon.
Nazi zombie space base.
That was pretty cool that they found evidence of, or parts of water on the surface of the moon in October. That was quite nice.
Thailand went into a state of emergency as well.
Of course they did. How many we got left on our COVID bingo card?
I don't know, but that wasn't COVID. That was
another 3 months.
No, it was COVID.
Oh, it was. I was going to say, like,
no, it was the protests. It was the Thai protests, is why.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get a few out of the way if there's any that stick out. Massive earthquake hits Turkey and Greece, killing 81 people. Another COVID one, 45 million worldwide. That escalated quick.
There's cases though.
Yeah, just cases. None of it's. We all agree that it's bullshit. To an extent. And then I think that was October gone. So Britain's just gone into another month lockdown. And this is where more conspiracy nuts come out of the woodwork.
That's it, yeah. Because then the most recent one that's still kind of like going on in America to a degree, United States presidential election, Joe Biden is elected as the 46th president of the United States after remaining vote counts come in from key states delayed by an influx of mail-in ballots caused by the pandemic, defeating the incumbent President Donald Trump.
Which now, I believe he then went on to like spit his fucking dummy out, didn't he? And he was like, I'm still the president. He's like, no, you're not.
I don't think he's even conceded officially. Like,
no,
yeah, I'm not.
He hasn't admitted it, has he? But he has started doing his deeds now. So he started pardoning people and all that shit.
Right? Yeah. I'm not too up. Like, I of course I couldn't not hear about these, like the voting ballots being wrong and being illegal and blah blah blah. Because again, you hear one thing from the right and you hear one thing from the left, and there's no centralization about it.
It was in England trying to ridicule Donald Trump, like basically saying, "Oh, he spat his dummy out," blah blah blah, and there wasn't any real kind of before when it was all about Hillary and the first female president and whatnot. It was all very much trying to celebrate Hillary, whereas I think people just kind of went, "Do you know what? don't care that it's Joe Biden. Don't even really know who he is. I just didn't want Donald Trump as the president of America.
Yeah.
As if it really fucking affected, his true presidency didn't really affect them. Like all the shit he said in the media was obviously stuff that they were like, I don't agree with that. No. But yeah, again, it kind of took everything away from Joe Biden, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. But like I said, I remember there being like one weird video apparently where someone like excuses a load of people that are Republicans out of a voting thing, and I think it was in Michigan, funnily enough. And you see on like a CCTV video of someone, once they've all left, they drag out like a new box to count. And I remember watching that like on a video and being like, well, that does look a bit fucking suspect. But then I remember hearing people being like, oh, it's been debunked, but I didn't follow it up, like, because one person was saying this.
Did they go, do your own research? Do your own research.
There's always voter fraud. It's a thing. It happens.
It's like George Bush when he came in. His brother, like, he came in with a faulty election result, didn't he? There was like a load of fake votes came in or something stupid like that.
I think
it was his brother-in-law helped him.
The the mail-in votes, that certain states like Georgia didn't count the mail-in votes till afterwards. That's why the results were coming later. It wasn't like just a sudden jump. It's just each state counted their votes completely different
at a different time.
That's how it works. That's how it usually works, though. But because the presidents usually win by a landslide, it's just because this time it was so close. So they were like, everyone was kicking off because they were like, well, my state still has to vote. And then the thing is, what a lot of British people don't understand about American politics is that it isn't like ours. It isn't mass vote wins. It's like accumulation of county, district, and then state, isn't it? So it's like,
is it kind of like
it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, is it kind of like how the Houses of Parliament works? Like one party could get most votes, but because of certain things, another party is majority.
Yeah, because it's to do with it's also to do with like district voting rather than you have your individual vote, but then you have your county vote, and it's kind of similar in America, but I'm not massively up on politics, but I know that the American system is like, I personally prefer it. I prefer I prefer the American system for voting. I think ours is fucking stupid because it's like you get your main vote, but then you get your little sideline vote, but the sideline vote doesn't really matter because they don't have an opinion. They don't get an opinion. They just get to go, here, yeah, and they just get to shout at Boris Johnson. It's just like, fuck off, man.
They get
paid, like, you either are or you aren't.
London.
Yeah.
They get paid day out and a really expensive prawn sandwich from WH Smith.
Which comes out of our fucking council money, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, good on Joe Biden, like, whatever, I don't care. I be honest, I liked Donald Trump's banter. He was a bit of a racist and a bit of a sexist, but I can't imagine I'm going to have many laughs. We're going to have some terrible chats boring episodes about, I mean, none of us can do a Joe Biden impression, so that's Donald Trump. You two are
just fall asleep. You just have to fall asleep, didn't you?
Did you see it when he came out? I know we're trying to like cut this a little bit, but did you see it where he came out and started mouthing that Mexican song? And he was just like, it's a great theme tune. It was like that fucking operatic Spanish song. And it was like, it wasn't a theme tune, it was just the music, and he was just like this. And he came out like tapping, and he was just like, yeah, great theme tune, or some shit like that. And everyone was just like,
Have you heard the story where he talks about they used to like the hairs on his legs? You ever heard that story? What? So I was going on about some monologue about how when he was younger had really white body hair. So when it got wet, the children would like to play with it. It's longer than that. I've trimmed it down. It goes fucking ages. I'm talking about how kids like his leg hair.
Biden's legs?
Yeah, Biden's leg hair.
Why is he getting kids playing with his leg hair? Just pull it over.
Listen to it. It's the ramblings of a lunatic.
Because the leg hairs are ladders to the other thing.
Oh, God.
Kids are just like, it's like the Lost Boys in Peter Pan just flying around his leg hairs, and then eventually Rufio flies down and. So I'm on November.
November. Yeah, can't. There's something kind of like, ooh. that nearly triggered another fucking war in November.
The big. Oh, go on. I don't know if you want to. Do you want to elaborate on it?
Mine is on the later end of November. If you want to. Mine's November 27th.
Right. The vaccine. That's the big one, which we were going to do before lockdown, but we didn't. Sorry, before this one. But the vaccine completes its trials. The Pfizer and BioNTech completes its trials with an overall effective rate of 95%.
Cool.
But it also then about a week later got put down to 90%. So I'm like, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me in like 3 years' time. It also goes down to 90%, and then it actually becomes completely proven to not work at all.
On the subject, are you guys going to take it? Are you going to get jabbed?
I think, with my conspiracy mind, if it involves not being able to travel, yes, because in my opinion, what is the point if you can't enjoy a holiday or, what's the point in going to work? Like, hopefully my body, if it does have adverse reactions, hopefully my body will be strong enough to fucking resist them. But if they said you can't travel without it, America have already said to England, you will have to have a negative COVID test to travel to us. Anybody traveling from England. And like Ben says, if this is going to last for a year, 2 years, 10 years.
It's gone. It's on. It's forever now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
normalized. I don't have an issue with fucking microchips. I carry a phone around that literally fries my fucking brain. So like, why am I going to be bothered about a microchip that can detect where I am?
Even if
everyone, they know where you are anyway. Like, this is why the whole paperless, cashless society is trying
to. Yeah.
But without going too far into that.
But. Yeah, but it's like Ben said. It's like this is it from here. Like this is your life. It's like when we would talk about. Do you remember life without the internet? Like we obviously do. Like, and there's probably kids today that are just like, what the fuck do you mean you had no internet? What?
Yeah. And then you're like, look at this. This is a book. And they're like,
but like,
look how big it is.
That's like us in the 40s, like looking at people back then, and like when we
using a wheel and stick.
Yeah, wheel and a stick. Why was I thinking about that as well? That's fucking bizarre. But it's like, I didn't even have Cartoon Network. Like, what's wrong with them?
Like, I remember not having Sky. Like,
me too. I used to have to get my neighbour down the road to record fucking every Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Well, my mum and dad were landlords of a pub, so they got it like free by like nature. So I used to just watch all the wrestling on like a Sunday morning.
And you've got to think now then.
When I was 6.
You lucky bastard.
I was like,
but you got to think now. They are kids that are going to be growing up and being like, you used to just like go to work, like, and yeah. And you could just go to the park whenever you wanted to. Yeah, it was great.
And you used to go to the pub past midnight.
That's it,
You used to have drinks after midnight. I thought I turned into jelly after midnight.
Daddy, what's a sleepover?
What's a pub?
Yeah, what's a pub?
That's scary thought, isn't it?
But it's not far from reality, though. Why is it that I'm sitting here thinking... I feel like it's going to be awkward going back to
you know what the worst part about this reality is, though? We're talking about pubs, but our actual living society doesn't need a pub. But in England, the pubs are the priority. Yeah. So like all these, the pubs are kicking off, hospitality is kicking off because they're like, oh, we can't operate on normal hours. I was like, give me a second, right? Gyms were closed down, fully closed down for 5 months this year, but pubs have closed for 3.
Yeah.
Like pubs have closed for 3 months this year, and they've still been doing takeaway out the back door, like legally. Whereas they're like eat out to help out. So you can go to McDonald's and get 2 Happy Meals for the price of 1. But you can't go to the gym because your kid's a fucking obese little cunt who's going to get bullied. Oh, no, but it doesn't matter because he can't go to school anyway. So he's only going to get bullied by imaginary people on the internet.
Yeah.
Or his parents.
Oh, fuck. Yeah. His parents who are like cocaine and fucking heroin binging because they've got
fucking
nothing to do.
What? And
fucking mental.
Do you see an out? That's what I do not see an exit.
This is what I feel awkward thinking about the out. Like,
I see a normalization but I don't see it's gone. I just see now everyone
I don't like that. I don't like that.
My theory on this whole year, and it's dialed in, but it's too much to explain now. But we humans always see things as our lifespan. We see it as our own lifespan. 80 years or whatever isn't a long time in the grand scheme of things. In this year, they can slowly nudge up the price of things without anybody paying any real attention to it. So that has a massive knock-on effect for the next 5 years, the next 10 years. And because it's normalized in our kids, that'll just happen all the time now. So the prices of things will go up. But if you notice, like, this year, they're not raising minimum wage. They've said, we're not 100% doing it. I think they've said 13p is the maximum it will go up.
It's horrifying.
Yeah. And so it's one of them things. It's just like, for us, we're like, big changes, small changes for the big grand scheme of things. And then eventually, it's just another way they're going to make money. Like, I reckon it'll either be get the vaccine and flight, or another way to do it. They're going to, talking about flights and stuff, they're going to make sure that you're not sat next to strangers. So the price of the seats are going to go up. Small little changes like that are just going to like microtransactions in computer games. Give people what they really need, but also basically say you can't have it unless you pay that little bit extra.
That's it's just like, we can't offer this to you because of safety.
Yeah, but it's not safety. You can always pay. You can always pay for it. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, we're coming to the end now of our. I know. Maybe this is a really bad idea to put out on New Year's Eve. Like, just for everybody listening, like, this is maybe a day before, 2 days before New Year's Eve.
Yeah. So if anything else has happened since,
now we're coming into the time we're in now, like the December. In Britain, the next analysis of COVID-19 is the lockdowns is the 30th. Just for anybody in America who's listening, like, they've just basically put everyone in tier 4, which wasn't a thing a month ago. It's now a thing. And they've basically said that we're going to have to go into another lockdown again.
It's literally COVID season pass. Yeah. It's fucking crazy.
But bearing in mind, they've also given all the self-employed people their money until March. So they've prepaid us for March. But knowing how people are, they've got shit to pay for and stuff to do. The money's already spent. So that, I know in my case, the money's already spent. Yeah. I bought a lovely bass guitar, which I can spend 3 months learning how to play.
But it was somewhere in South America that they put everyone into a lockdown. I can't remember the country, and I should, if I'm going to quote it, but they put the country into lockdown, but they had to go to the court to get the lockdown approved. The government couldn't just do it like our government is. And so they went to the court approved it, and they did the lockdown, and the lockdown ended, and they had to go back to the court to get a second lockdown. And the court said, this is the last one. We can't do any more.
Can't give you a lockdown. We're locked down already. This is
the only lockdown you'll get. It's this amount of time, and there will be no more. So
and they'll push another right though. That's what they've been doing the whole time this has been going on. So the whole time they've been just distracting people with little things. They're working on the future. Like they said, Boris Johnson. It's like Boris Johnson says we will not go into another January lockdown. That was in September. Now he's saying I cannot see a future without going into a lockdown. I'm just like, yeah, of course you can't, because you've got advisors.
Yeah.
Just to bring things like this roller coaster ride of this thing.
Emotions.
The UN Commission on Narcotics.
Yes.
Votes to remove cannabis from a list of dangerous drugs. Finally something good comes
Some
off.
damn good news towards the end of December. Like, do you reckon the Illuminati or whoever runs the world is sitting there and they're all like, you know what?
Give him a good one.
I'm feeling a little bit sorry for all these ants in a minute. What do you think, boys? Should we give them weed? Oh, I don't know.
I think it might be.
Trials are going all right in America and Canada.
I think it might be less sinister than that. I think they have just a bowl. It's all mixed up with all the things that could happen this year. And
like a swingers party.
They just pull them out, and they read them out. It happens. They read them out. It happens. And unfortunately, there's not many good ones in there this year.
No, they're just like, yeah. Well, basically, everybody just picked out this one. They're like, oh god, I got the one with the fat wife.
That's it. Oh,
I got the one with a Nissan Micra and a fat wife.
So,
there's not a correlation between those two. No. If you've got a Nissan Micra or a fat wife,
there's just
yeah. Yeah. Which we're basically just saying that we're tired of this year, aren't we? We're tired now. Yeah. We're nearly are we nearly reaching 4 hours or is it 3 hours?
No, I think we're close to 3 hours, but it's 9
3
PM.
All right, okay.
Me, like
it's 2 in the morning here.
See the dedication
yeah, but
we give
we
to
also
you,
haven't been at work all day. I mean,
you haven't been at work all day, and I have.
I have.
Well, I have been at work all day, actually, Dean. I've been playing bass.
That's what I was gonna say.
Just don't you know, I'm actually a musician part time.
Yeah.
Full time at the moment.
Full time, yes.
Full time musician at the moment, yeah.
Oh yeah, shit. This is the thing. I don't think it happened this year, but the Christchurch mosque shootings.
It did happen this year. It happened last year.
End of last year. But they're going to release the files to the public, which they massively covered up at the time. A lot of it was because they were saying that it could have been. I heard people were saying it could have been an inside job to
rile up racial hatred.
To basically create a better. Well, basically try and get rid of all the non-savouries.
Yeah, non-savouries. Because I remember his manifest was on 4chan, and the guy that did the shooting, he was like really coaxing it up on 4chan, and he put his manifesto in there, and people were like, "Holy fuck, this guy's actually." Because like apparently, if I remember rightly, I really think we should possibly do an episode on this because this is a very big like internet centered one as well. Because I, from what I remember, I think he was posting or asking a lot of questions on 4chan, and it was beginning to get like really sort of serious. And he created a manifesto and then posted it and was just like, "There's my Facebook link. I'm going to be streaming it. See you on the other side." And then everyone was just like, there were messages after it like, "This dude's fucking for real." Like I remember his first post, like they were like, "He's actually going to do this." But what was interesting about the manifesto is the killer wrote a step-by-step guide on how the media would portray him. And it's like people were comparing, like they were saying he has literally written how he is expecting the media to do this. And he was kind of basically at the same time saying they're going to do this, that he's going to rile up this, whereas I'm talking about this in my manifesto and they're going to say this. Like it was horribly accurate how this person that committed an awful fucking act was just like, "I'm going to do this because they create a load of like false shit and this is the real shit, but watch that, like watch what they say because I'm going to predict it in."
But then in turn that's kind of a bit double agenty because you're creating a persona which then it's kind of like what like master manipulators do and gaslighters do, isn't it? They basically you know, "Oh, you think I'm this, but I'm not, but I'm actually a really nice guy." Like I know so many people are just like, "Oh, why do the girls always say they want a nice guy, but I can't ever get a girlfriend?" It's like, because you're a cunt. That's you know what I mean? Like it's not because they're like they want you as a nice guy. They just want a genuine guy. They just they don't want someone who's like, "Oh, let me open a door for you, but I might also rape you." You know, it's like
milady.
It's a bit fucking.
But that's an interesting one that I would love to dive into because I feel like it although it's kind of like along the same lines maybe of like the murder mystery kind of episodes we've done, but I do think it correlates quite well to the idea that when it dives into media manipulation and media predictability and stuff like that and biases here and there and whatnot, I think it would be quite an interesting take to sort of dissect it and find out what the point was behind this fucking like maniac and to how the media picked it apart and how it was similar in certain ways to like other shootings and that. It'd be an interesting dive, I feel like. It'd be a very interesting dive.
I don't know about you guys, but I feel that this might be the one to wrap it up.
I believe so anyway. Because it's
so I no this one, this very one.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go
this
ahead.
very one. Right.
Ooh.
And you've been seeing a lot of these. COVID-19 pandemic a highly infectious new strain of SARS-CoV-2 is spreading in Europe and Australia, provokes international border closures. And that was December the 20th. And then on Boxing Day, Ben, along with many other people down that side of the country, all went into a higher restriction lockdown.
Right.
Basically, what we thought was the highest.
Yeah.
And then they added another one. And then there's an article today that says tier 5 on the horizon.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that is.
I've got a question for you boys with regards to this new strain that's coming out. Am I correct in hearing that this lockdown the lockdown you're in at the moment that they did?
We aren't in a national lockdown. We're in a tier system.
Or moving it to tier whatever it is.
Yeah. I'm in tier 2. Ben's in tier 4.
Tier 4's lockdown. Like you can't go into someone else's house. You can't go into shops. Like,
so am I correct in when people started getting a bit like rowdy, like down south for like tier 4 and stuff? Is it correct that then the government came out and were like, we did that because there's a new strain out? Like, is that how it happened?
They started. Sorry,
they've known about that new strain since September.
Yeah, they started seeding. They started seeding this idea that it was a new strain, but they also at the same time, and like, no offense to Ben because he's not in London,
right? Yeah,
but it was like, oh my god, all these cases are rising in London, and they were really holding back on putting London in tier 3. They were like really holding it back.
Yeah,
and then they were like, right, you're in tier 3. And then all of a sudden, the idea that this new strain, the super strains come out or whatever, which basically was trying to like, oh, that's the reason why London's doing so bad. Right. It was basically like the Capita was like, oh my God, like, I can't believe London was doing so bad. Oh, that must be why. Not because we've been doing bad. It's because there's a new strain. So now the whole basis in England is based around this. Yeah, there's this new strain, so this is why I have to get locked down again, and this is why we've created it. It's not your fault; it's this new strain's fault. Because if they'd have said it's your fault, people would start rebelling. Whereas because it's a new strain of virus, which is basically going back to fucking March again at the beginning of the year. No one knew what fucking coronavirus was, and now it's like,
you can't help being angry, but it's this new strain. It's not your fault. Just as soon as these last Brexit deals and negotiations are being done.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you know, but they stopped crossing. Yeah, we've got the deal.
We've got a deal now.
We got
Free
a deal.
trade.
But they stopped. So basically, like thousands of lorry drivers spent their Christmas Day on the
M6.
No,
M2.
What, in M2? Huge traffic jam?
In Dover, yeah.
Yeah, like, I'm at 10,000 lorries, was it? Or some bullshit like that?
It was a car
and
park.
The government
the government did nothing. It was Polish people that came and helped and fed everyone.
And even France was saying, we'll come and help you do it. Because they were basically like, technically it's our fault, you're not allowed to come over, so we'll come and, they were shipping over bottles of water and stuff. But I mean, that's not only like we're complaining about the fact that we were stuck in our houses and stuff on Christmas Day, those fucking bus drivers are stuck in a fucking sweaty little bunk.
In a Arctic lorry back fucking cabinet.
Yeah, like, and it's fucking, it's cold here now. It's like, it literally in the last 3 days, it just got cold.
That's pure insanity.
Yeah. And our government was useless. They did nothing, really. It was like...
absolute cretins, man.
Yeah.
It
just feels like they don't care they don't care. Like when you don't think, oh, the Tory government, you just think, oh, well, they don't give a fuck about us. There's some interest, something. This Brexit thing. There's some interest somewhere along the line for them. That's like what all of their mates are going to get rich from it. Going, we're going to do this deal.
Without
invest in this now. As soon as we are out, you're going to get a shit ton of money. That's all it is. There's no, and they've convinced little old ladies that are dead now from coronavirus that it was that the country was overrun with foreigners. But it was just,
and the reason why they got voted in was because the country, like for people listening, I'm doing quotation marks, was overrun by foreigners. Like that's the, that's the
rhetoric.
Like, I'm pretty sure that's probably what Ben just said. Maybe I just caught the wrong end of it. I'm just repeating it. I'm just taking the glory for it.
Brexit and to the Americans, I don't think that Americans really understand what it is. It's basically England proving it's a massive racist country, or 51% of our country is massively racist.
Yeah.
Or they believe in the NHS, or whatever lie was spun to that specific person, because that all goes down to Cambridge Analytica, the big hack
advertising company, the media moguls, whatever, marketing moguls. But I think that probably wraps us up then.
That's 2020.
Hopefully we make 10, it January the 1st.
9, 8.
Fuck's sake.
I don't know what our list was that I'm doing. I just obviously I know we all want to go to bed now, or you want to go and enjoy your evening, Dean. Just thanks to everyone on the Discord, and I'm sure you guys will give it far more sentiment than I can, but I just want to say thanks to OG Socks, my homies up north where I cut my teeth and all that. Thanks for supporting us through the year and giving us all the sacks. And I'd like to just say thanks to my friend Greg at Last Shirt on the Left. I'm sure you'll be getting your pins soon, Dean. I don't know when.
Awesome. They'll get there eventually.
I ordered a Christmas present for my missus, and it was held in British Customs for 6 days because I was like, I presume I have to pay a thing for it. Yeah. And they just released it this morning, so she didn't get it for Christmas.
Oh.
But thanks to my mate Greg for sending us some pins out, and they're fucking amazing. They're really good company. Awesome. Last Shirt on the Left. They're really struggling at the moment as well because they do a lot of comic and horror conventions, and they're fucking great guys. I see Greg, he's the drummer in Fizzy Milk, but I see him quite regularly. But thanks a lot for those guys. Thanks for everyone for thinking in.
Everybody in the Discord for the community that we've had created for us. Not saying that we ourselves have created it. You people in the Discord have created what that is. Yeah. And it's amazing. Well, it's like you're walking into a pubcast almost. Yeah. And everyone's just slinging crazy around everywhere in there. It's fucking. Yeah. I love every
glass is full of piss.
I might not be super active in there at the moment. Granted, just being at work, it's a bit difficult. But I read through everything. I like. And particularly with Vicky and Kat, was it Kat? Sorry, when I was talking about the Jehovah's Witness land grabbing and stuff, just crazy shit like that. I love seeing it. But thank you, thank you so much.
I'm sure Ben wants to say something, but just before we do go, I forgot one major fucking thing this year because of all the other shit that we don't really care about. Some aliens left some fucking massive giant triangle mirrors in the ground, and we didn't even talk about it.
Oh, the
obelisk, I think we're going to talk about that, aren't we? So, in a later date.
In a later date. Well, but sorry, Ben, go ahead.
They're going to keep cropping up, I think, for the foreseeable as some kind of big project. I just want to say thank you for anyone joined the Patreon. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We made 100 subs last week.
Hey.
Nice.
Yeah, and we're, I don't think monetization is really an option for us because of
it will never happen.
But we won't ever. I don't think we won't have a choice now because YouTube obviously will monetize any video they see fit. So maybe they will. But thank you to everyone, and thank you for tuning into this long fucking shit review of this horrible year.
And I just want to congratulate myself because I am slurring a bit, but I remember. I'm still sober.
You're not 110%.
I'm not.
Exactly.
110% high.
I have spent the last 25 minutes convinced that someone is watching me through my window.
I've been watching you looking.
And for anybody who's not watching, Ben came in and shiftily put his jacket on, and he's been constantly eyeing the side of the screen. But because of where I'm sat, he looks like he's looking at me because I'm in the middle, and I'm just like, Is he all right? Is he looking at me? And we're not even in the same room.
Yeah, I keep seeing him
And
like.
Dean's completely green, so it's making it even scary.
Basically, I took one too many edibles. And it caught up with me quicker than I was hoping I would go into the house and then get paranoid and fall asleep. Now, I'm on the podcast and I'm looking out the window of my studio going,
and you've got to walk across your garden.
I've got to walk across the garden. Oh.
I love it. Right. But thank you everybody for listening. It's been grand. Description links and everything else you can find in the description. Sorry, everything relevant to the podcast if you're watching on YouTube.
All the links down below.
And just a quick one, I'm sure our homie Hooks will time code everything, so you can go and watch the videos that we've been referencing the whole time. The things that we were meant to be talking about tonight are probably all in those documentaries. So
yes,
go check them out.
Yeah, we were meant to do a whole load of Christmas shit. Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.
What happens when it comes to it in the thing?
Oh, maybe they did. So in the back, now this is
a light brown jacket.
cool story.
Without the